It is stop number 2 on the calendar for the Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship, and we are ready to go racing from Wakefield Park in Goulburn, New South Wales. This track, 2.2 kilometres in length, has 10 turns. It's physical, it's technical, and it is known as the nation's spectator track. It is Wayne Maxwell who holds the lap record with a 57.182. Hello and a very big good morning from Emma Francesco and Steve Martin. And Steve, last time out at Phillip Island, we witnessed some of the greatest racing. It is certainly very fierce for that championship, especially in the Superbike class.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at Phillip Island, we had a little bit of everything. We had fantastic close racing. We had a little bit of controversy and some big crashes. Thankfully, everybody was okay after that.
And we also had a privateer who took home the round win, Aidan Wagner. He had an off in practice at the start of this weekend, unfortunately starting from 7th on the grid today.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult weekend for Aidan Wagner. He didn't quite qualify as well as he did at Phillip Island. 7th on the grid here means it's going to be hard work for him. It's very difficult to overtake at this track, and on top of that, he's carrying an injury from a crash he had earlier this weekend. He's got his shoulder keeps on popping out, so unfortunately for Aidan Wagner, it's going to be a tough weekend.
Well, as we check out the championship points for the Superbike class, it is Aidan Wagner still leading, 71 heading into this round. Behind him, the guy sitting in pole position, Crew Halliday, with 55 points, and Josh Waters sitting in 3rd with 50 points. This guy here, Tom DeParis, is sitting in 1st for the Super Sport class in the terms of the championship. Well done on a great round 1, and welcome to a big round 2.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, it's great to be here at home. Yeah, Phillip Island was like a really good weekend, so it's good to come home and have like a pretty high pressure round, to be honest with you, but yeah, so far it's been really good, and it's great to see so many people up on the hill. So yeah, this afternoon, or this morning actually, we got our first race. It's really overcast, but it looks like there's no rain coming, so hopefully we can get through it today dry. But yeah, it's really good to be home, that's for sure.
It's a big weekend for you here, but also a big year. You're also doing some races in the IDM Championship.
Yeah, we've got a big 2-month break in the championship here, so I got the opportunity to go over to Germany and race their national championship, which is really good, which actually incorporates a couple of countries around it too. So yeah, we're doing a few rounds over there in May, June, and yeah, it's going to be good to get over there, and I know a lot of people over there already, so it's sort of a good fit, and yeah, hopefully I can get some good results.
As we take a look at the track map, Wakefield Park, Steve, what do we need to know about this track? Certainly very different to Phillip Island.
Oh, it's a completely different animal to Phillip Island. It's tight, it's twisty, it's bumpy. It's very, very hard to overtake on this circuit. Perhaps you can tell us where the overtaking spots are, Tom.
Yeah, the real places to pass is down the hill on the brakes into the left-hander, and turn 1 and probably the last corner are the only real spots where you can pass. But yeah, different surface here, and if the weather does turn around and rain, it's going to be like a complete flip on the weekend, because no one's had any wet experience here for a long time, so it's going to be interesting.
Thanks for joining us, Tom. Good luck for today. I know you've got a run-off. Thank you very much. Good luck for your big 2 races. And in the meantime, we're getting set and ready to go for YMF R3 Cup race number 2. It's a big hello and good morning to Mark Brax and Phil Harlem.
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. Great to be here at Wakefield Park. Braxy, a great track for racing, and so far this weekend we've seen some fast lap times, but we've also seen
broken lap records.
But we've also seen some incredibly close racing in the support class races that took place yesterday afternoon.
Well, we had the R3 Cup, we had the Supersport 300s, and also the sidecars, the Horsell Consulting sidecar, and they were very exciting as well. But the Supersport 300 and the R3 Cup, the usual band of madmen out there again, and as usual, the only certainty is that the lead's going to change every couple of laps, every couple of corners. Yeah, it was great racing yesterday afternoon from the R3 Cup and Supersport 300. R3 Cup actually started off today here at Wakefield Park for the first race of the day's program. Maxi Stouffer took the win in a very close race with Johnny Littress in 2nd, Hunter Ford in 3rd, and Lockie Taylor in 4th. But there was literally 0.7 of a second between those 3 as they came across the line. And R3 Cup and Supersport 300 are continuing on in 2019 where they left off in 2018 with great close racing. Yeah, and young 15-year-old Johnny Littress claiming the lap record as well yesterday afternoon in the R3 Cup, getting into the 65s for the first time. So taking about over half a second off the lap record that was held by the Hunter Ford, who Didn't have the best start in the Supersport 300, was pulled off the grid because he didn't have his calibers locked wide, but he certainly came back in the opening leg of the R3 Cup yesterday afternoon and let them know that he is ready to go as well. We see them on the grid at the moment. In pole position, we've got Maxi Stouffer, who's really kicked the goal. Benny Baker in second on bike number 72, and rounding out the front row, we've got John Littris on bike number 308.
Yeah, Lockie Taylor back on the second row of the grid, along with the two elder statesmen in this class, Zach Levy and Hunter Ford. They will start from the second row of the grid. And look for both of those two. They may be the oldest guys in this class, but they are also by far the most experienced.
Yeah, well, when you're talking about Zach Levy, 24 years old, I think, and it's a bit of a misname when you say he's one of the elder statesmen, along as, I suppose, Yanni Shaw's another one in the 300s. But Zach Levy, as they call it on the old Dunga, the Puma RV machine that's been brought out of mothballs this weekend. They're having another attack at it, and Zach Levy, the inaugural winner of the YMF R3 Cup a few years ago.
Back on the third row of the grid, we've got Harry Curry, who was strong in the races yesterday, along with another very experienced rider, Brandon Demery, making his return in 2019 after having pretty much not raced for 18 months. And then Travis Hall back there on row 3 as well on board bike number 31.
Yeah, them through bike number, we go right through the ranks here. As you said, Travis Hall, another one that's these up and coming. They just keep on getting there. And then we've got Kyle O'Connell, Tristan Adamson and Luke Johnson on the fourth row of the grid.
Just looking back through the grid, one noticeable absentee, I imagine this weekend, will be Laura Brown. Had a big crash and unfortunately suffered another injury in the lead up to this round.
But the good thing about it, the other young lady that was involved in it, Stephanie James, she's back out there. She was on the warm-up this morning, which is good to see as well. And, I suppose with racing, it doesn't take any prisoners. No matter what gender you are, you're out there with the helmets and boots and gloves on. You're just another rider.
While we're mentioning riders that are coming in injured, probably need to also mention Keegan Pickering. She's one of those people that she just seems to be doing sport every weekend. Doesn't really seem to matter what it is, whether it's dirt track, motocross, road racing, but she's also now playing rugby as well. She's got shin splints coming into this round from playing rugby just recently, and then last night fell down the stairs in her accommodation, so she thinks she may have twisted her ankle as well. Where is she, Braxy? Out there on the grid.
Well, let that slow you down.
So we're ready to go racing for our first race of the day. The Yamaha Motor Finance R3 Cup, race number 2 for them this weekend. Max Stouffer starts from pole position. He also took the race win in race number 1 as we go into the starters' hands. A great start from the front row of the grid from Maxi Stouffer. Looked like a pretty good start from the second row of the grid too. A lot of riders getting a great jump there. Benny Baker slots up into second and Johnny Littris in third on board bike number 308.
Yeah, it's going to be helter-skelter as all the patterns funnel their way through that very tight and demanding turn 1 and turn 2. I must say the racecraft these guys have got as Max Stouffer leads Benny Baker, John Littris as they headed off from the grid. And Zach Levy wasn't too far behind as well with Lockie Taylor and Hunter Ford there on bike number 20.
Yeah, Hunter Ford's traditionally not one that gets off to a great start, but works his way into the race. So look for him and also Zach Levy, who seems to be the master of the last lap muggings on board the Puma RVs machine. Hunter Ford, of course, on board bike number 20 and Zach Levy on board bike number 87. Great to see Lockie Taylor back in his usual livery on board bike number 151. He's a lot easier to pick out than he was at the first round, Braxy.
Yeah, as they come down now to the final turn, Benny Baker, his favourite passing move up the inside. Now the drag down this Wakefield Park straight as this freight train of about 20 riders conquer their way down the straight with Max Stouffer repaying the favour. They'll be side by side as they tip it into turn 1 for the second time.
Yeah, Benny Baker has a bit of a look up the inside on the brakes. Just I don't know if he was able to get up there. Oh, big there move there from Mitch Kuhn on board bike number 58. It's the Shark Leathers machine. He dives up the inside to move up one further position. Just looking to see, I don't think Harry Curry's in that lead group. Noticeable by his absence, Braxy. He's a fair way back at the completion of lap number 1.
Yeah, he's about getting about 7th or 8th position, I think, maybe even 10th position, which is highly unusual for the Sydney sider.
So down the bottom of the hill, Benny Baker gives the brakes another big workout at the bottom of the hill, but Max Stouffer has his line covered as they come around through the bottom of the hill there at the YMI corner. And starting to get away a little bit at the front is our lead group of 4. They've actually got 0.7 of a second over the riders in the group behind. As they come down into the final corner now, Baker has a look up the inside, but I think he was probably on the inside of the track there and just managed to hold out Johnny Littris, who was looking very keen to try and move up into second place.
Well, it's a testament to these guys' racecraft. In yesterday's afternoon race, Max was third going into that final turn. And great braking to move up into first and brake check them both as Benny Baker tries the same thing going through turn 2 with the charge up the hill. You see the front end of the Maxi Stover's bike bouncing through the corners there. And John Litcher, oh, there's a squeeze through there, Maxi Stover. No, he saw that gap, and it was a good, clean move. The racecraft of these kids is just simply sensational, it really is.
No surprise there with Max Stover. He does come from pretty good lineage on both sides of his family. But the interesting thing is, Braxy, you and I both had the privilege of watching his dad race for many, many years. The more Max races, the more he's starting to look like his dad, the 4-time Australian champion, Jamie Stover.
Yeah, it is. It's very uncanny. And I've seen the same with Ollie Bayliss as his father, Troy. They just, the genes and the riding style just continues. He's tucked in there on bike number 27. Uses the same number as his old man done. Johnny Littress, the Queenslander from up Caboolture way, having a look up the inside of Benny Baker, who hails from the Central Coast of New South Wales.
And Johnny Littress, another rider, a multi-discipline rider that still rides motard, dirt track, and also is really starting to come on in road racing terms. Scored his first win at the last round at Phillip Island, and that's a big milestone in a rider's career.
Yeah, really giving him a bit of confidence as well. He's also getting on the motocross bike as well, as we have a look at that replay of gashing it through the apex that his father was so famous for at the H-shed at the Phillip Island track. And he's doing exactly the same through a left-hander. And yeah, you just see the head down, just that body language of Max, and then the differences in style when you look at Benny Baker, a real GP style hanging off the bike. Benny Baker last year on bike number 72, he was taking part in the Asian Talent Cup. Didn't work out the way he wanted to, but he's come back in a bit more determined, a bit more racecraft under his belt to really give this title a shake. This and the Super Sport 300 category as well, proudly presented by Yamaha Motor Insurance.
We're coming up to the completion of lap 4 now. Only one more corner to go on Wakefield Park, and we will be at half race distance. Lap 4 of 8 complete now for the R3 Cup competitors as Maxi Stover continues to lead, but it's fair to say he's under considerable pressure from the 3 riders right behind. We've got Benny Baker on 72, Johnny Littress on 308, and Hunter Ford has now joined the party. I don't think it'll be too long, and we'll see Zach Levy and Lockie Taylor also into this lead group of 4. But once again, the comparison of styles between Max Stover, who's looking very comfortable on the bike, not moving around too much, and Benny Baker, who's climbing all over the thing. Looks like he's on the monkey bars in the school playground.
He sure is, but he's and using an advantage and just showing you the difference in style. It doesn't really matter what it is, but they still get around the same way. All these kids graduates from the junior competition over the last couple of years. And it's great to see that these the racecraft they learn in that on the 150s translates very well and gives them that grounding to come into these higher classes and really make an impact, as we've seen Maxi Stover do last year on the 300 and the R3, as well as continuing on this year. Benny Baker leading as they come down the back straight on their 5th lap of 8. And Johnny Littress take both of them. He's been sitting there playing that waiting game for a couple of laps, Phil. And he knew exactly what he had to do. They were a bit slower going into that corner, defending their line. He thought, hang on, there's room for me up there.
But the braking manoeuvres at that corner actually are set up 1.5 corners before as they come out of the bottom of the fishhook. As Benny Baker goes back into the lead, Max Stover comes back. Just goes to show you the importance of slipstreaming in this class. The bikes are so evenly matched. And we've just had 3 leaders in the space of only a couple of corners. And look who's joined the party now. Probably one of the most experienced campaigners in the field. Hunter Ford on board bike number 20, a previous champion in this class.
Yeah, well, he's the defending R3 champion, as a matter of fact. And looking back, Lockie Taylor and Zach Levy just a little bit off the song at the moment, trying to get the shepherd's hook out to drag themselves up and won this one. You've got to look at Benny Baker is the shortest one, and then you look at Hunter Ford, who's approaching 1.8 centimetres, 1.8 metres tall. He's a very tall lad for what he's, considering what he's up against for these guys as well.
Well, actually, Max Stover's getting taller and taller every time I see him. I think they must be putting him on the rack up there at Curry, but down the inside, once again, Johnny Littress. It's almost a carbon copy replay of the previous lap, and Benny Baker says, thank you very much, I'll go back into the lead as they bang a few elbows going down the straight. Bit of dirt track coming out here. Max uses the double slipstream to slice his way past.
Hunter Ford round the outside as well, Phil.
Well, Hunter Ford, he's obviously not scared to bang bars with these young fellas. But you see Max Stover's bike moving all around the place there as he got the drive over the bumps and went up the hill into the lead. Once again is Max Stover on board bike number 27, but keep your eye on board bike number 20, Hunter Ford.
I'll tell you what, Johnny Littress and Benny Baker in there, the battle for 3rd and 4th. There was just nowhere to go. Well, it didn't seem like there was any room to go there. Oh, Benny Baker as well, but this is giving Maxie Stover a bit of chance to get away from this. And Hunter Ford, like you said, he gives about 10 kilograms away in weight, and also trying to get his body under the fairing to make himself a little bit more aerodynamic compared to the smaller variety riders. As he comes, oh no, Hunter Ford has a good look as they come up ready to start their final lap of this second leg of the YMF R3 Cup.
Well, keep your eye on Hunter Ford. He's actually been the fastest man on track in this race with a 105.742, and he's slotted up into second place now, and he's looking to try and find his way past Max Stover on the brakes as they come down into turn one. He's done it. He's positioned his motorcycle perfectly as they come up into the second corner now and drive up the hill towards the top of the circuit at Suzuki, and Hunter Ford leads. New lap record set in this race. Braxy, as Maxie Stover says, thank you very much. I'll go back to the lead, but keep your eye on Littress and Baker as well. They're certainly not done yet.
So that's 2 lap records in less than 24 hours for Hunter Ford, because he got one yesterday. And another one, a 105.706, 105.827 for Max Stover as they're halfway through this final lap.
Yeah, Hunter Ford, 2 lap records in one race. Not a bad way to start your Sunday program, but he needs to try and find his way past Max Stover. There is only 2 more corners to go, but is he setting it up perfectly now for a run down into the final corner? He's going to want to be a fair bit ahead or stay behind and use the slipstream, because I think Max may have a little bit more straight line speed than Hunter Ford. He tries around the outside, can't quite get the job done. He's into the slipstream now. Littress is going to be the one to watch. He could pants Hunter Ford on the line for second place if he times this perfectly, but Max Stover will take the win. Hunter Ford, a great ride to hang on to second, and Johnny Littress takes third. Benny Baker, a very close fourth. Half a second just between those 4 riders as they came across the line. Hunter Ford, a new lap record as well, 2 times in that race. So a great way to start off his day and the podium as well. So Max Stover now 2 from 2 in the 2 races that have been held so far for the Yamaha YMF R3 Cup. Just looking back through the rest of the field as they come to the line now. Looks like a pretty good battle there for the minor positions. There goes Keegan Pickering across the line on board bike number 22. She'll secure 16th place despite those ongoing shin splint injuries and also the twisted ankle from falling down the stairs this morning. A great effort from Keegan Pickering, who's limping around the pits all weekend. Just goes to show you how tough these riders are, male or female. Motorcycle races, they certainly are a different breed. We'll be hearing from our top 3 very, very shortly. That is Max Stover, Hunter Ford and Johnny Littress. Just a recap of the top 10. So Max Stover takes the win from Hunter Ford and Johnny Littress. Benny Baker in 4th, Lockie Taylor in 5th, Zach Levy in 6th. They just couldn't quite seem to bridge that gap over the final laps to the lead group of 4. Travis Hall in 7th, repeats his 7th place from yesterday. Tristan Adamson on board bike number 864, up into the top 10 for the first time this weekend. Luke Johnson in 9th position, and Brandon Demery rounds out the top 10. Kyle O'Connell at 11th, Silas Bunting in 12th, Mitch Kuhn on board the Shark Leathers machine, bike number 58 in 13th, Jacob Ralston, Ryan Smith, Keegan Pickering in 16th, as we mentioned. Reece Orchard out there as well. He's also doing the Oceania Blue Crew Junior Cup as well. Bronson Pickett, Cameron Agostini and Christian Agostini round out the top 20. Wakefield Park looking good. Big group of spectators in here. There are cars all the way up the hill at the back of the Goulburn circuit. Well, they call it the spectator circuit. Is certainly one that's filling up with spectators this weekend. Of course, 2 local heroes racing here. Tom Taparis in Supersport and Troy Herfoss in the Superbike category. And I think pretty much looking at the spectator areas, half of Goulburn and the surrounding environs have turned out to see them. There's Max Stover, race winner, getting the congratulations from his dad. As we mentioned, 4 times Australian champion Jamie Stover, 2 Superbike championships in 2006 and 2007, and 2 Supersport championships in 2006 and 2008 to his name. And the next generation of riders coming through now, showing all the skills that Jamie had when he was making his way up through the ranks as well.
Do me a favour, just drag that, flatten that foot out. See that foot sticking up, that's it.
Just while we're waiting for our top 3, the MA calendar events coming up. The FIM Oceania Speedway Sidecar Championships on the 29th to the 30th of March at Gilman Speedway in South Australia. The Pirelli Australian Motocross Nationals, 30th to the 31st of March at Wonthaggi in Victoria. And the Australian Junior Road Racing Championships Round 2 from the 5th to the 7th of April at Broadford. FIM Speedway Sidecar 1000cc World Cup, the 5th to the 6th of April at Gilman Speedway. Yamaha Australia Off-Road Championships rounds 3 and 4, the 6th to 7th of April as well. And the Pirelli Australian MX Nationals round 3, 13th to 14th of April. The Borderford Bike Bonanza Easter weekend, a great place to spend your Easter weekend. 19th to the 21st of April. The Australian Junior Track Championships 20th to the 21st of April. Gilman and again on the calendar. Let's go down to the podium and hear from our top three.
Well, Johnny Litchfield, third position, not quite what you wanted, but some really good passing maneuvers, particularly that last corner. You really like that.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Yeah, heads up to all the boys for the good competition. Yeah, it was really fun. You know, I'd just like to thank all the people that made this happen. Jacqueline Hyde, Kabuchi Yamaha, ACS, AGV and TCX, and Barry's Dyno.
All right, all the best for another win later on this afternoon.
Thank you.
As we move on to second position, Hunter Ford, and a new lap record, mate. At least to take something out of it, even though you didn't get the win.
Yeah, I tried me hardest to beat Maxie, but couldn't quite do it on the last lap. Pushed as hard as I could, couldn't make it, but yeah, got a new lap record again.
Change your strategy for the next one?
Oh, probably same strategy and try my best if I get to beat him, I'd say.
All right, mate, all the best, Hunter Ford, and congratulations on the new lap record.
Thank you.
Now, Rose, you move on to our winner. 2 wins in the YMF R3 Cup. Well done, Maxie Stoper, but you had them well covered, didn't you, this time?
Yeah, well, I was trying to pull away, but I wasn't able to just then, so I had to play it right again, and I done it, and pretty happy.
And you had, going into that last corner, you had just strategy to keep a really tight line.
Yeah, apparently Hunter come up beside me, which doesn't surprise me. I was expecting a lot of them to come through, but I was able to keep it upright and first, and I'm happy. I can't thank all my sponsors enough: Pirelli, Xiaomi, KYT, Yamaha, YRD, Rock Oil, everyone that helps out. It's amazing.
Well, mate, all the best for the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Now, Rose, back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks very much, Braxy. Congratulations to Max Stofer, Hunter Ford, and Johnny Litchfield, the top three. The upcoming events, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, the first race on the Sunday program for them at here, their first round. They'll be coming up at 10:25. And the Australian Supersport Championship blasts into action at 10:45 for race one of their 2 16-lap races here this weekend. Of course, the local hero, Tom Taparas, will be out on track. YMI Supersport 300, hold on to your hats for that one. That'll be starting at 11:20 for race number 2. Kawasaki Superbike at 11:40 for race number 1. The other local hero, Troy Herfoss, in action in that one. And the Australian Sidecars, their final race of the weekend at 12:25, coming up also on today's program. Really looking forward to the second of our Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup races, which will be the next race on the program. We've already seen some extremely exciting racing from the young 11 to 15-year-olds as they make their track debuts here at round 2 of the championship. They've already had one official test this weekend, but now they're coming around to take up their positions on the grid. And varying ages and varying sizes and heights of riders. Steve Martin, welcome to the commentary box as we get ready for this second race for the Oceania Junior Cup this weekend. The hardest thing about trying to watch this class is everybody looks the same, and there's so many bikes out on track. Great to see such a quality field.
Yeah, it certainly is a quality field. One thing we won't miss, though, is the action, because yesterday was amazing to watch these young guys out on track.
Cross Francis will start from pole position after dominating most of the practice sessions, along with Carter Thompson and Glenn Nelson. Yesterday, it was Carter Thompson that took the race win.
Jacob Ralston, of course, starts from row 2 with Angus Grenfell behind him. And then, of course, a whole load of guys as they head out on the track. And there we go, that's the start of the race, and they're away. That was a quick start, wasn't it? They didn't hold them for too long on the line as they head up through turn 1 and into the thing. It's number 21, of course, and that is Carter Thompson who leads this time out. Carter won the race yesterday, so he's off to a great start already.
He certainly did. Yesterday when they came across the line, there was 0.7 of a second that separated the top 7 riders as they made their way, sorry, the top 6 riders as they made their way across the line. Up into first place now is Cross Francis. On board number 42. We've got one down already. So that looked like the rider that was actually sitting in 3rd place, and unfortunately he's given his brand new Recondi leathers and the AGV helmet a bit of a workout there at the top of the hill. But as we come down towards the bottom of the hill now, it is still Cross Francis from Carter Thompson as we try and get some confirmation on who that was that actually crashed out. You can see he's not real happy with himself as he makes his way away from the scene of that incident.
Good to see he's okay there, but Cross Thompson is doing a good. Cross Francis is doing a good job up there at the moment, and of course Carter Thompson retakes that lead. A lot of slipstreaming in this little class. Of course, Yamaha R15 is the bike of choice here. Loads of different lines, but plenty of slipstreaming action here at Wakefield Park on these bikes.
And all of the bikes are equipped with Pirelli slicks as well, so there's certainly plenty of grip available for those riders. Just having a look now, it's Marianos Nicolas that's moved up into third position, but it's fair to say that there is a pretty tightly bunched pack right behind our two race leaders that have got a very small gap over the pursuing pack of three riders as we blast our way up towards the top of the hill now.
Of course, Cross Francis, he's only 12 years old, believe it or not, Phil. He comes from Sydney, does lots of cycling and running as training, so it's good to see him out there. And on our little sheet here that tells us what he thinks about himself, he says he's motorbike mad.
Well, I think it probably goes for half the field. Well, and the commentary team as well, Steve, as they make their way down towards the bottom of the hill now. It's bike number 21, Carter Thompson, that's gone back into the lead. I think even though they're starting to get away a little bit at the front, you can see the size difference between Carter Thompson, who is probably one of the shorter riders in this field. That's the one big thing I noticed yesterday as they were all mingling around the riders, the massive difference in height and weight between some of these riders. As Cross Francis tries a very sneaky move up the inside there, not much room to try and squeeze, not even a Yamaha R15 through in that gap.
No, absolutely not. Well, Carter Thompson, who won the race yesterday, leading at the moment on his number 21 machine, he's the youngest guy in the field, believe it or not. He's come from a dirt tracking background, so he's had plenty of elbow rubbing in his time.
As we look back through the field, Carter Thompson leads, as we mentioned, Cross Francis in Serence, Nicholas in third place. Then it's Jacob Rolston in fourth on board 74. Angus Grenfell on board bike number 36 in fifth place. Tom Drain on bike number 59 in sixth. Reece Orchard up into seventh place. A good performance from Reece Orchard. Zach Pettendy in eighth position on board bike number 15. Max Gibbons on 31 in position number 9. And Jacob Hatch on board bike number 14 up into the top 10. He's one of the tallest and heaviest riders out there in the field, Jacob Hatch.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, on these little bikes, if you're a little bit heavier and a little bit bigger than some of the competition, it can make a big difference. So he's really going to have to tuck down his Hatch in 10th position at the moment.
Well, a 6-lap journey for the Blue Crew Oceania Cup riders on their second outing for the weekend. We're on lap 3 now with 2 laps complete. The first flying lap, fastest man on track, Cross Francis, with a 1:17.490.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, they were qualifying in the 15s, and the lap record was set by Marianos Nicolas yesterday at a 15.95.
Yeah, I think the cooler track temperatures this morning maybe just holding them back a fraction. And I'll tell you now, having a look at it, Carter Thompson's actually got a little bit of a lead. It's up to just getting towards half a second as he comes across the line to complete lap 3. So half race distance. The real interest, though, Steve Martin, is this battle for third, fourth, fifth and sixth position as those riders make their way up towards the top of the hill at Suzuki now through KTM Corner.
Yeah, of course, that's Angus Grenfell, Jacob Ralston and Marianos Nicolas, the lap record holder in that battle there at the moment. But that's the thing, these guys, you've got to remember, Phil, they haven't had a lot of time on these bikes. We've got one of the riders has run off, manages to pull it back in and he'll get back on track. Can't quite catch the number on that one, but meanwhile back out front it's the number 21 Carter Thompson doing what he does best.
Yeah, well, and he's been doing a pretty good job so far, because on the last lap he was actually the fastest rider on track at 1:17.370, just over a tenth, or just on a tenth of a second faster than the pursuing Cross Francis on board bike number 42.
Yeah, the top 5 guys all in that 17 bracket, and you can see them there on your screen now. Back to 59, Tom Drain, who we haven't mentioned yet. He's done himself some good too, just starting to suck himself back up onto that front group. There he is at the back of that group there.
It's interesting, on that last lap, the top 5 all set their fastest lap of the race. Cross Francis just trying to get the slipstream. He might just be in the zone to try and get a little bit of a slipstream there from Carter Thompson as they make their way down into turn 2. Look at this battle between bike number 15. That's Zach Pettendy on board the bike number 15 machine. Jacob Hatch on board 14 is looking for a big move up the inside as well. And he was one rider that had a DNF yesterday afternoon because he actually got caught up in an incident at the top of the hill and had to take evasive action, got his handlebar knocked and unfortunately went down and crashed out of the first race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the thing about this racing, Phil, it seems to be battles within battles at the moment as these young guys and girls start to learn their trade. Remember, they haven't done a lot of riding on this bike, but how close do you like it?
Oh, Zach Petney was almost off the circuit. Hatch has gone, thank you very much, I'll go up the inside. This is the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Cormac Buchanan on board bike number 28 is in that battle as well.
As they head down, we've got someone slowing off to the right-hand side there.
That was Piper Kent just getting out of the way.
Yeah, it's good to see Piper Kent from Western Australia out there, and she's doing the right thing, just moving over. She's definitely one of the new ones. Looks like she did have a problem. I think she just pulled into the pit, so Piper Kent has pulled into the pit. Good to see her out there, made the journey all the way from Western Australia.
So 5 laps down, they'll get the last lap board now as we have 2.2 kilometres of action to go for the second race in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. As we mentioned, it's a great price for all of these riders. Oh, just see that. Carter Thompson has a look over his shoulder and all he saw was Cross Francis sliding bike number 42 in sideways to go right up onto his tail now. That has really cost him a case of the looking over your shoulders there. Cross Francis doesn't need a second invitation and takes the lead at the top of the hill at Suzuki Corner.
Absolutely. Cross Francis just gave it everything he had there. He pushed up the inside, a nice diving manoeuvre. He had to carry that mid-corner speed through, and he's put himself into the lead of this race with less than a kilometre to go.
Around the outside, never going to work for Carter Thompson there. I'll tell you what, Cross Francis yesterday looked pretty cross that he had to play second fiddle to Carter Thompson in race number 1. He's looking for revenge in this one. He's only got 2 corners to go. Can he hold off a very fast through that last corner, Carter Thompson? He'll try and have a look down the inside as they come down to the final corner now. Is it? Yes,
Carter Thompson, he's dove up the inside, but he's got to run wide. He's run wide, and that's allowed Cross Francis to dive up the inside, but Carter Thompson's held it as they head towards the line. It's going to be a slipstream, Phil.
He's trying to pull out of the slipstream. I just don't think he's got it. Carter Thompson's looking around to see when Cross Francis is going to come past. He launches right at the line, but it's not enough, and Carter Thompson takes the win by 0.069 of a second. Cross Francis sets the fastest lap of the race on the last lap with a 1:16.495, but it wasn't enough. He just comes up a fraction short once again. In third place will be Angus Grenfell on board bike number 36. A great improvement to him to get up onto the podium, Steve, because he finished in 6th position yesterday, 0.7 of a second behind the lead. Today, he's up on the podium, and he'll be very happy with that one.
Absolutely. That was a cracker of a race for these young guys and girls out on track. 11 to 15 years old. Wouldn't you have liked to see a race like this, or be able to enjoy racing like this when you were that age, Phil?
Well, it is great to see such young riders getting the opportunity to get out onto the tar. As we recap the top 10 now, Carter Thompson taking his second win of the weekend from Cross Francis on board bike number 42. Angus Grenfell will join them on the podium. We'll be hearing from them shortly. Marianos Nicholas in 4th place, Tom Drain in 5th, Reece Orchard in 6th place. I saw his dad this morning. He said we're going to have a real go today, and he certainly has. Max Gibbons in 7th, Zach Petney in 8th, Jacob Hatch in 9th, and Jacob Ralston rounds out the top 10.
Alex Kenworthy-Jones in 11th, Archie McDonald in 12th, Lucas Quinn in 13th, Cormac Buchanan in 14th, Jai Russo takes 15th in the last point, Hunter Diplock in 16th, just misses out on the points, Leakin Knight in 17th, Varys Fleming in 18th, Patrick Bognor in 19th, and Tom Connors takes 20th position.
Yeah, Jamie Port in 21st position, Dominic Fletcher in 22nd, Toby James in 23rd, Piper Kent in 24. Looked like she had a problem with her bike and pulled in, and Glenn Nelson was the rider that crashed out early on in the race up at the top of the hill.
Yes, what a race it was too, Phil. Good to see the young guys. Good to get the championship, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Championship underway here at Wakefield Park. I couldn't think of a better track than this one for these young guys. It's nice. It probably suits the R15s just nicely.
It certainly does, and they did a great job this weekend. We've seen a couple of crashes, but we've also seen some unbelievable lap times and a whole lot of great racing from these riders in the 2 races that we've seen so far. Some good, clean, hard racing as well. And can't wait to take in the rest of the season. And, of course, a big congratulations to Motorcycling Australia for getting this category, and also the work done by Damien Cudlin in coaching the young riders, and also Trevor Manley and his crew in making sure that all of the bikes are prepared as well as they can. The parents are doing a great job as well to get their kids out there, and a great value for money class put on by Motorcycling Australia, giving the young riders a real chance at some future stardom.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to get involved or find out more, you can always head to our website to find out more, Phil.
Certainly, www.ma will help you out with all of the information that you need to know.
Big day ahead, of course. You can see the action there. There's going to be a big crowd here today at Wakefield Park as well. The cars are moving in. I heard you alluding to it earlier on, but I think a 200% increase in ticket sales for this event over last year. So that's an incredible amount. We had a big crowd last year, so really looking forward to seeing the racing coming up throughout the day.
Well, the reason they're all piling in now is because the local hero, Tom Taparis, is up next on the program. Let's go down to the podium and hear from our top three.
Yes, starting with third position, Angus Grenfell. Well done. What a fantastic race.
Yeah, it was a great race. Good job to all the boys. It was a good competition and just a great experience.
Thanks, Angus. Well done. Great to see you on the podium. And in second position, Cross Francis. Wow, that last lap was exciting indeed. 2 podiums for you this weekend. Well done.
Yeah, 2 podiums this weekend. It's been good. Started from pole, but hopefully we'll get a win in the first race. But I'm so ecstatic with this and happy to get another podium.
Well done in second position, Cross Francis. And first, your winner, 2 wins, Carter Thompson. Well done.
Thank you. It was a great race, good competition. Cross rode really good.
Anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Yamaha and all the other sponsors that made this championship possible.
Well done. Well done, boys.
Thanks very much, Emma. Congratulations to our top 3. We'll have a short break, come back on the other side of this with all the Supersport action here from Wakefield Park, round 2 of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship.
We are the innovators, the specialists, the ones who power the wheels of progress. Extraordinary innovation for on-road and off-road terrain. Estacore technology for improved engine protection and performance. We are going a step beyond to a new generation of motor oils. This is the vision of innovation. The new 300V squared.
Our business is making dreams come true. Since 2002, we've realised over 130,000 Yamaha dreams and financed more than 200,000 motorcycle and boating passions. We've helped turn the smallest dreams and the largest dreams into reality. Are you ready to make your dream a reality?
Next, we head to Dungog, New South Wales for rounds 3 and 4. To stay updated on all AORC news, head to the aorc.org.au website or check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park and the second round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championships from the spectator circuit, Wakefield Park. And a big crowd is in here. They've come out to see their local heroes, and one of them is sitting on pole position for this race. Tom Taparis on board bike number 7. Let's get down to the grid with Emma.
Thanks a lot, Phil. Yes, he is pole position yet again for Tom Taparis. And your local track, does that put a bit of extra pressure on you?
Yeah, for sure, Emma. Like, look at all the people out here. It is quite nerve-wracking, but at the same time, it's a great reward if you get the win. So, yeah, looking forward to this race. 16 laps and then one more this afternoon. So, see what we can come up with.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Tom Taparis starting from pole position, and of course he got the round win for round 1 at Phillip Island. The guy starting from second position, Brock Pearson. Brock, what do you need to do to close that gap with Tommy?
I need to just get up the inside of Tommy and just try and muck up a bit of his rhythm, because Tom's fast around here and he's got pretty good pace. And yeah, he is fast, so I just got to try and stick with him. But I'm feeling confident. You know, the bike feels well, and yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really good race. And of course, Tom will be the man to beat. So I'm really keen for it.
Obviously, a good start is crucial as well, even though you've got a clear track ahead of you.
Yeah, one up the inside of Tom. So yeah, hopefully I just get a good start, and like I said, just go with it and try and hang on to Tommy and see what happens.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Boys.
Thanks very much, Em. Yeah, great to see Brock Pearson back with some form. Steve, he's had some big injuries over the last couple of years, but he looked to be getting back to his usual self at Phillip Island. Great to see he's continued it on here at a very tricky circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's had a changing of classes over those periods as well, so it's really good to see that he's back to normal. Speaking of back, let's go back down to the grid.
Reed Batty starting from the first row of the grid, feeling pretty confident on the bike this weekend?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good this weekend. It's a bit of a step from Phillip Island. We're on the front row, so Suzuki GSX-R 610 really nice around here. So see what we can do in the race, but a bit nervous. So see how the race goes anyway.
I saw you chatting to team owner Dale Breed a little bit earlier too. Obviously, good to have a mentor like that.
Yeah, he's such an awesome mentor. You know, he's such a good guy as well. Just having your corner, definitely gives me a little bit of guidance here and there, and also the boys, Josh and Wayne in the team as well. It's good to have them there as well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll just keep walking down the grid. Not too long to go. We'll jump in here with Ollie Bayliss, who's currently smiling for a photo. Always smiling, Ollie. How you going, mate? Starting from the second row, feeling confident?
Yeah, fairly. You know, in qualifying one yesterday, we had an off. It messed with my confidence a bit, but I think after warm-up this morning, I'm feeling pretty good and pretty confident, and hopefully I can get in front of some of these guys.
Where's Dad? He left. Is he coming back to watch you?
Yeah, he'll be here around 1, so hopefully he can be on here in the next race.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Boys.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ollie Bayliss. He was certainly in good form last night, and this weekend he's been fast. And no surprise, Steve Martin, to see Ollie Bayliss in his debut Supersport season continually fighting for the podium and up the front of the class.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got everything thrown at it. You know, he's got some good bikes. He's got Glenn Richards in his corner. You can see Glenn just on the right-hand side of him on screen there with him next to the 68 machine. So, you know, it's got it all to play for. But what about this man, Nick Limington? He rode so well at Phillip Island. He's had some issues this weekend, though. His number one bike, his new R6, has had engine problems, so he's gone back to his old model machine. So he's riding the old model.
A 2009 model, I think.
Yeah.
10 years old. Just goes to show you that nothing wrong with the previous model of R6. Great to hear from Reed Batty on the grid to be up there on the front row as well. This would probably have to be his home round because he's from the south coast of New South Wales. So Wakefield Park, probably the closest thing to a home round for Reed Batty. Also, Aidan Hayes, can he continue on the great form that he showed at Phillip Island earlier on this year as well? Another rider that was up there and fighting for the podium.
Absolutely. Aidan Hayes has come on leaps and bounds in this 600 class. He's been around for a little while now, had a bit of a break, but he's back. Believe he's continuing the rest of the year, and so he should, because he's really come to grips with the Yamaha R6 that he's mounted on now. Of course, rode Kawasaki last year, but good to see Aidan Hayes back out in the fray.
Just an update on the championship positions as we head off on the warm-up lap. Tom Taparis leads the championship by 16 points over Nick Limington on 60 points. Ollie Bayliss is in third place, 24 points back from the championship lead. Callum Spriggs, another one that's not here this weekend. Hopefully we'll see Callum back on board his machine very soon. And Brock Pearson rounds out the top 5 in the championship. In fact, he's tied with Callum Spriggs on 49 points for 4th and 5th place in the championship.
It's a long race around here, 16 laps. It's very physical. tyre wear comes into play as well, especially with these cooler conditions. It's been hotter than this all weekend. I'd say this is the coldest it's been so far.
Yeah, another rider I've been impressed with this weekend because he certainly has stepped it up a notch is South Australian Dallas Skier on board bike number 86, another of the Suzuki GSXR 600s. And he was there or thereabouts at Phillip Island.
Yeah.
But tell you what, this weekend he's certainly improved his pace considerably from his 12th and 16th place finish and a DNF at the 3 races at the first round.
Talking South Australians, let's talk Ty Lynch. He's also on a bit of a mission here this weekend. His best qualifying, I would say, qualifying 6th. His bike's looking spectacular out there, of course, so we need to keep an eye on the number 85 for R6 of Ty Lynch.
Yeah, he also had some good results at Phillip Island, knocking on the door of the podium. Finished 5th in the second race of the 3 at the first round as we head off now on the warm-up lap. And we will recap the grid. We've got Tom Taparis, Brock Pearson and Reed Batty on the front row of the grid. Bikes 7, 17 and 33.
Ollie Bayliss, Nick Limington and Ty Lynch are on row 2, with Reece Belling, Aidan Hayes and Dallas Skier on row 3.
Row 4 will be Chris Quinn, the most experienced rider in this class, been riding Supersport for many, many years. Sam Lambert on board the MV Augusta. Wait till you hear that bike on Full Noah's bike number 54, and Andrew Edser on bike number 555. He will start out of row 4.
Jack Passfield and John Quinn round out the field, and boy, what a packed field it is.
Yeah, I'm just surprised to see Jack Passfield that far off in lap times. Even though he's back on row 5, I think the real concern is that he's a couple of seconds off in lap time, a rider that we would have thought would have been a lot closer to the front. Of course, for more information, asbk.com.au, head to the website, and you can also access the live streaming and all of the results after the event from that website as well. Coming round now to take up positions on the grid, Steve Martin, 16 gruelling laps on board the Supersport machines.
You can see Reed Batty there, still got the sticker on his front tyre as he heads up. That will wear off quite quickly, I'd imagine. There's the number 68, Ollie Bayliss, of course, and our pole man, Tom Taparis, takes his spot on the front row of the grid.
Interesting, the Bayliss boys, they've got some interesting occupations. His elder brother, Mitch, was actually in a UFC fight last night. Ollie was a keen spectator watching it on the TV. And now Ollie's about to go racing as the red flag leaves the grid. Supersport class gets underway at round 2 with the local hero, Tom Taparis, starting from pole position. Reed Batty got a cracking start and could very well be down the inside to take the lead through turn number 1. He is. And who's right there as well? Is that Ty Lynch on board bike number 85? You predicted it, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
A great start from the second row of the grid.
Ty Lynch is there. Ollie Bayliss as well. Ollie Bayliss is right up there, so he's got himself a good little start as well. But Reed Batty, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with that. He's riding really well on that 600 Suzuki.
Yeah, he just probably didn't get the drive up the hill that he would have liked, and Tom Taparis is now into the lead. Reed Batty elbow down as they come down the hill on board the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia Supersport 600. Brock Pearson, a massive lunge up the inside on board bike number 17. Can he hold the corner speed? He's just gone up ahead. Was that Ty Lynch or Ollie Bayliss that he managed to get ahead of? But he didn't get the start he wanted, Brock Pearson.
It's so important to get yourself in a good position on the first lap and settle down on this race circuit because it's so hard to overtake. And there goes Aidan Hayes doing exactly that, up the inside. Brilliant move by Aidan Hayes on the early part of this race.
Oh, was that Reece Belling on board bike number 61, had a massive out-of-the-seat moment there, trying to get the run on Aidan Hayes as they came onto the straight. Nick Limington's done a good job to get the older YZF-R 6 off the line. There's Dallas Skier on board bike number 86. He's away with the lead group as well, right onto the back now of Reece Belling as they make their way up the hill.
You can just see how bumpy this circuit is when you have a look at these bikes entering the corners. The suspension works overtime. It's so important to have a good setup here because if you get it wrong, you're a long way off. And perhaps that was Jack Passfield's problem. Perhaps he didn't just find that setup to get his bike settled down over the bumps.
You'd have to find the combination, Steve, because you've got the extremely hard braking, but then you also need the bike to be able to ride over the bumps as well.
Oh, absolutely. Not only is it extreme braking as we turn into the Yamaha Revs your hard out corner, it's also dips down there and it's off camber. So you've got to have it hard enough to brake, but also smooth enough, like we just saw Tom Taparis' bike perfectly accelerate out onto that main straight.
Yeah, the Landbridge Transport Yamaha team doing a great job this weekend. Well done to Sam Costanza and the crew to get the Supersport machine of Tom Taparis and also the Superbike of Aidan Wagner on the pace that they are. as they make their way up towards the top of the hill now. It is Ollie Bayliss all over the back of Reed Batty. Reed Batty still got that sticker on the front tyre. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down at the moment as they come across the top of the hill at Suzuki Corner. Then they will come charging down the hill. And YMI Corner at the bottom of this hill is a known overtaking opportunity. Can Ollie Bayliss get to the inside of the late braking? Oh, that's Jack Passfield, I think, on board bike number 42, sponsored by Stay Upright, and unfortunately, he hasn't remained upright on this occasion.
No, definitely struggling, Jack Passfield, here at this Wakefield Park. Looks like he's okay. He'll have another opportunity this afternoon. But Tom Taparis is not running away with this.
No, it's a great job from Reed Batty on board bike number 33. Well, that's Nick Limington all over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though he said, I saw him this morning, still getting used to the older machine. It's notably down on bottom-end horsepower, which is noticeable around this circuit, but they're sliding it sideways into the final corner at Yamaha Corner.
Now, Tom Taparis out front will be doing everything he can to make a break at the moment, but it's not to be. Here's that Jack Passfield crash. Just loses the front there, and he tries to hold it up on his knee, but he can't do it. That's up at the top of the circuit out of Suzuki Corner, so it's a common place to do that, Phil.
Yeah, very, very tricky corner, and he's not the first person to crash there, trying to avoid the bump on the inside of the corner. Tom Taparis is throwing the leg out to try and stop himself at the bottom of the hill. A great job here from Reed Batty, Ollie Bayliss, and now Brock Pearson, who's joined the party. There is only half a second to covering that top four as they came across the line. You know who's the fastest man on track on the third lap of the race, though, Steve Martin? It is Ty Lynch on board bike number 85, a 1 minute .207, the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive lap by the young South Australian who's putting everything into it at the moment. Ollie Bayliss sits there in third as well. Reed Batty. Suzuki has always worked good around this track as well. I mean, Ted Collins a couple of years ago when he was Suzuki mounted won here convincingly and held the lap record up until last year when Crew Halliday got it, of course, on the factory R6 Yamaha.
Funny you should mention that, because Reed Batty has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute .0 lap time for Reed Batty on board bike number 33, as we have a look here at this battle between Chris Quinn on board bike number 82 and also Andrew Edser on board bike number 555 as they battle it out for 11th and 12th positions across the top of the hill at Suzuki. That's the corner that claimed Jack Passfield earlier on in the race.
Yeah, Chris Quinn there looking a little bit loose through Suzuki Corner on his Yamaha, I might add.
Well, it is Taparis on board a Yamaha that leads from Reed Batty on board a Suzuki. Then we've got Ollie Bayliss, Brock Pearson and Ty Lynch, all Yamaha mounted, along with Nick Limington and Aidan Hayes back in 7th position. But Nick Limington on the older model Yamaha, not the brand new Yamaha YZF-R6
Bayliss
being ridden by the riders at the front. That was a big move from Ollie Bayliss down the inside. Tom Taparis is now the fastest man on track, the first man into the 59s with a 59.90, and that's still a fraction off his qualifying time of a 59.399, but he's got to string 16 laps together. But yesterday, the team did 24 laps on one tyre, and his fastest lap was on lap 22, Steve.
Big moment there by Reed Batty. Back just came around, but held it up the inside, goes to number 17. Good move by Brock Pearson. He did that nice and smooth. He wants to try and catch up to that leading group now. He wants to get on the podium. He's put himself in the perfect position. He wants to run with Ollie Bayliss.
Well, I've seen some great races between Tom Taparis and Brock Pearson in the junior classes on board Supersport 300 machines over the years. And Brock Pearson is desperate to try and get up with his old foe as Tom Taparis leads this race, and looks like he may have just pulled out a fraction on this one. It'll be interesting to see what the lap times are as Ollie Bayliss now takes up the running in second position. Tom Taparis is down to a 59.575, so he's lowering those lap times as we have a look at the existing lap record for Crew Halliday.
It's gone. He's just gotten the lap record that was 59.6, 59.5, so he is on lap record pace. Impressive stuff by Taparis.
Well, it's a lap record. That's the first scalp that he wanted to claim this weekend, along with pole position, of course, which he's already done. And look at Brock Pearson closing up onto the back of Ollie Bayliss now. The other two Queenslanders going hard at it.
Yeah, Brock Pearson, what a rider. I mean, he's had some adversity in his racing career, but he really has come back from it strong, hasn't he? He's able to just mix it with the best. Nothing phases him. I'm sure he's had some injuries that are still carrying aches and pains from now.
There he goes, up the inside of Ollie Bayliss into the Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner, and I'll tell you what, his heart would have been revving there, diving up the inside there late on the brakes. He tells Ollie Bayliss to tuck in behind him. Yeah, right, I don't think that's going to happen, Brock Pearson, as you make your way down towards turn 2. Ollie tries to have a look up the inside, just can't quite do it at this occasion. And as they try and get the run up the hill now, you can see how early and hard Brock Pearson got on the gas. He's probably one of the tallest riders in the field. Tom Taparis is getting taller every time I see him, but I think Brock Pearson may just have an inch or so on him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's certainly a larger guy, but that means he has got the ability to be able to throw that bike around, and you can see how much it's moving. He's not scared to let it move underneath him. Definitely getting it a bit sideways there. As we here's that overtaking manoeuvre, Phil. He's just got that classical inside line. Bit sideways on the way there. Bayliss takes a classic entry, but it's a block pass. Has to back off the gas, does Bayliss, and off he goes. And a brilliant pass by the man who is now in second position, Brock Pearson.
But did you notice how hard his suspension was working, both front and rear, to try and keep the bike on track over those bumps, and the aggressive nature of the way that he threw it into the circuit? He's managed to hold Ollie Bayliss off for an entire lap now as they make their way across the start-finish line. That's 8 laps down, so our half-race distance for the Supersport class in race number 1 at the second round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Ollie Bayliss has a look over the shoulder. He sees that Reid Batty has just dropped back a fraction, a few bike lengths behind. He's about 0.6 of a second behind that group at the front. Let's head down to the picture, an update from Emma at half-race distance.
Just down here with Glenn from Ollie Bayliss' team. He's just in third, but what a great battle with that top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Ollie's settled in well. Having a good battle there. He's P3 at the moment, so we've still got 6 or 7 laps to go. So fingers crossed we can get it on the podium.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Glenn was racing last weekend, so he knows exactly what it's like to be out there on track. And you can see once again Brock Pearson's bike moving all around the show. In fact, on that entry into turn 10, the Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner, Ollie Bayliss' machine looked a lot more composed.
Yeah, it certainly did, and that's the thing about this, the length of this race. When the grip of the tyre starts to disappear, which is about this point, you have to ride on all of the setup work that you've done over the weekend. That's what all the practice sessions are about. And when that grip goes, the bike starts to move around. So it's all about controlling the bike with no grip, and those that can do that the best will be stronger towards the end of the race. And you've got to say that the number 68 of Ollie Bayliss is starting to reel Brock Pearson back in, and is looking quite strong at the moment.
You can see that exit too of the Suzuki corners at the top of the hill, how hard the bikes and suspension are working to try and keep them on track over those real, noticeable bumps that the front end is bouncing all around the place. In comparison, Tom Taparis' bike doesn't seem to be struggling at all. It seems to be gliding over the bumps. So tell you, the team there at Landbridge Transport have done a great job, because he's pulling away from this field, lapping consistently in the 59s. His fastest lap, as we mentioned, a new lap record of 59.5. His last couple of laps have all been in the 59s, a 59.7 and a 59.6 on that last lap.
Well, Richard Taparis, we saw Richard Taparis, his father, last night, and he said that this is our year. This is the year that we've been waiting for. Tom's strong, he's confident, and I'll tell you what, the way that he's riding now, especially after the racing that he did at Phillip Island, he doubled up there. He did the World Supersport and also the Australian Supersport Championship. He really has got a lot of racing experience under his belt. If it's going to be any time, it's now.
And it's, well, speaking of international experience, Brock Pearson is another rider with such a tender age, but so much overseas experience. He's raced in the Asia Talent Cup, done a great job over there. In fact, I think he was one of the first Australians to ever podium in that extremely hard-fought class. And he's come back to Australia now and doing a great job stepping up to Supersport 600 last year. This is his first year, his second year in the championship. Right behind him is the man off track in his first year of Supersport racing, Ollie Bayliss. How was that photo of Ollie Bayliss earlier in the weekend, tipping into turn 1 there, using the concrete wall on pit lane pretty much as a berm to try and get the bike turned?
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't as big as the photo that I saw of him coming onto the back straight when he had a big high side at this point right here, I think it was. So, Ollie Bayliss, probably you've got to think, is probably riding slightly injured this weekend as well.
Yeah, he did say he was a little bit battered and bruised. His elbow is the main thing that's giving him a problem. How was the sliding there of Brock Pearson as he makes his way down the hill? You've ridden around here, Steve Martin. That is a dauntingly fast corner coming down the hill there. And these riders are really starting to push on now with 11 laps down. They're on the 12th lap of 16.
Yeah, that was a great lap by Brock Pearson last time out. He put the hammer down big time, 59.8 by him. So he really is starting to show who is the boss. He wants that second place. He wants to beat Ollie Bayliss, and he's willing to lay it on the line. You can't really get away with sliding a bike too much around here, Phil, because it's that bumpy. When you get that slide started, if it goes into one of those hard edge bumps, a little bit like a motocross bike, it can flick you over the top. Seen it before. I don't want to see it today.
Well, you predicted it before too, Steve Martin, to keep your eye on Ty Lynch on board bike number 85. He's now closed up right onto the back of Reed Batty's Team Suzuki X-Star Australia GSXR 600 bike number 33 as they continue this battle for 4th and 5th position. Just having a look at the lap times though, Tom Taparis is continuing to lap in the 59.6, 59.7 bracket, but Brock Pearson has lowered his lap times, and I think he's now done 3 laps in a row, all in the 59s. That's why he's starting to pull away from Ollie Bayliss on board bike number 68, who is continuing to lap in the low 62nd bracket.
Yeah, I think that bodes well for Brock in the race later on today. It looks like he's found something within himself, whether it's the track or the way he's letting the bike move around now. He seems to be comfortable with that movement, and watch out for Brock Pearson in race 2 today. He might give Tom Taparis a run for his money.
Well, speaking of giving someone a run for their money, Ty Lynch is really giving Reed Batty a run for his money at the moment now as they come across the line to complete the 13th lap of the race. Lynch has a big lunge down the inside on board bike number 85. He lost the front. You can see there, he just had the brake on a fraction too long. Lost the front end of bike number 85 as he went up the inside of Reed Batty. Reed Batty lucky to be able to duck back to the inside and get the run up the hill, but unfortunately that's the end of race number 1 for Ty Lynch. As we watch a quick replay of this now, you can see Reed Batty is in there late, asking everything he can of the front suspension. Lynch goes up the inside. At this place he's still got it, but then just loses the front end.
Yeah, all over for Ty Lynch, unfortunately for him. Boy, he gave it a good nudge, but it is difficult to pass here. You've got to be careful. He wasn't careful enough.
Well, and the other thing is, though, too, it is a big risk to overtake on the brakes here at Wakefield Park because of the nature of the circuit being so bumpy, and unfortunately, Ty Lynch just getting caught out there. But that's what you've got to do to try and get past Nick Leamington, still sliding the bike in sideways, having a pretty lonely ride, actually, in 6th place. He's got a pretty handy lead over Aidan Hayes on board bike number 46. And also he's just a fraction off the back of Reed Batty's machine, so he can't actually, with the dwindling laps now, make any attempt to try and gain one more position.
No, for Nick Leamington, all he can do this weekend, unfortunately, is, well, at least in this race, unless they can improve that older model R6 somewhat, is just pick up the points. A bit disappointing after the successful round he had at round 1 at Phillip Island.
Yeah, take away some good solid points and head to his home round at round 3 at the Ben Motorsport Park. He'll be all pumped up for a big, strong performance there. Look at Reed Batty, great style to watch. He's almost disappearing off the inside of the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia GSXR 600 as he comes through the bottom of the hill there at YMI corner, and then through AGV to blast his way down the back straight into Yamaha corner, and doing a great job now to hold down 4th position with no real challenge behind him. There's our race leader. He's now starting his final 2.2 kilometre lap, and this weekend has got all the local sponsors on a special local fairing that he's running for his home round here with Gander Constructions, Studio 4 Design, the Green Grocer, the local bike shop, and also Leader Sports Nutrition, his long-time sponsor, doing a great job. And he's doing a great job here at his home track is Tom Taparis.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got so many sponsors here this weekend. Yamaha Australia, of course, helping him out. Link, JW Moto Parts, Canberra Motorcycle Centre as well. So he deserves it. He deserves to have all those sponsors as well. What a brilliant ride by Tom Taparis. He is a man on a mission, and he is riding that R6 on the limit every lap, every corner.
Well, for the first time in about 9 laps, he's actually dropped back and is circulating in the 62nd bracket. One more corner to go for Tom Taparis as he comes round to take the checkered flag and his first victory of the weekend. He'll be extremely happy with that. He put a lot of pressure on himself because half of Goulburn has turned out to see him here this weekend, and he celebrates and gives the crowd a big wave as he comes past the spectator areas at the end of the main straight here at Wakefield Park. Congratulations to Tom Taparis. Congratulations also to Brock Pearson and Ollie Bayliss, who will join him on the podium. We will hear from them shortly. A great ride from Reed Batty in 4th place and Nick Leamington 5th place, and solid points for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Great ride. And there's that fairing with all of the sponsors on it. But this is a guy that if the cards fall right for him, I think he's going to go a lot of places, Tom Taparis. He's a nice young guy. But you know what? There's a lot of good talent coming up in this 600 class. Reed Batty, what a ride he had. Ty Lynch, boy, what could have been for him? I mean, he's having the year of his life.
There you go, confirmation of your results. Tom Taparis takes the win over Brock Pearson by 3.6 seconds, and Ollie Bayliss rounds out the podium on a Yamaha benefit at the top of the result sheet. Reid Batty, the first of the Suzuki's, home in 4th position. Nick Limington in 5th, Aidan Hayes in 6th, Dallas Skier in 7th, Reece Belling in 8th, Chris Quinn in 9th, Andrew Edser in 10th, Sam Lambert in 11th position, and then unfortunately Jack Passfield, John Quinn and Ty Lynch not making it to the finish.
Yeah, that was a pretty good race, Phil. Lots of new lap records set. Big crowd to watch as well. You can see like the crowd building in the background there.
Well, the replay of the start, you can see it was a great start from Tom Taparis, who blasted off well, but Reid Batty got a cracking start from the inside of the grid and led them into turn 1 for the first time. But Tom Taparis got a great drive up the hill, and it wasn't long until he took the lead. Then, unfortunately, we had Jack Passfield, who went down on board bike number 42. And then this great battle between Chris Quinn and Andrew Edser as they disputed for positions just on the top 10.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, back up front, it was the number 17, Brock Pearson, who started to make his presence felt in the race, working his way forward, first past Reid Batty and then also Ollie Bayliss, getting himself up into second. And that would give another battle between those two guys. Ollie Bayliss doing everything that he could in the background there just to try and stay with him. But Brock found something. And then 85, Ty Lynch went up the inside. He wanted to make his way past into the Kawasaki corner. Bang, wasn't to be. Lost the front, braked late, and his race ended early.
Yeah, the battle between Brock Pearson and Ollie Bayliss went all the way to the line, but no one could challenge this man. Tom Taparis on board bike number 7, the Landbridge Transport Yamaha, and he did a great job to take the victory comfortably in the end by 3.6 seconds. And he's now down in Park for May with the team celebrating. There's the Pirelli guys taking some data from the rear tyre. And it's great to see his crew chief, Marty Dowd, getting a great result this weekend. Marty works so hard behind the scenes to give Tom the bike that he needs to do the work that he does.
Yeah, absolutely. You just don't turn up to these events, do you, and get on a bike and race anymore. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes development and preparation and paperwork and sponsor hunting that needs to be done.
I'm very impressed with the mid-race pace of Brock Pearson as well on board bike number 17. He was another rider that actually did a lot of good fast laps in the 59s. So championship status after race number 1 is Tom Taparis leads on 102. Nick Limington still in second place on 76 points from Ollie Bayliss on 70. Brock Pearson has solidified his position now in 4th, ahead of Aidan Hayes in 5th. Reid Batty, Callum Spriggs, Ty Lynch, Reece Belling and Jack Passfield round out the top 10. Let's go down to the podium and our top 3.
Thanks, Phil. Starting with 3rd position, Ollie Bayliss. Well done. Some fantastic battles in that race and collecting plenty of points for yourself.
Yeah, you know, that was a really good race. We stayed with Tommy for a bit, which I think it made me a bit happy. And, yeah, I had a bit of a problem, which I lost Brock with, but oh well, that's racing. And a 3rd I'm not too happy with.
Good luck for the next one.
Thanks, Emma.
And Brock Pearson in 2nd position. Well done. Your first podium for the 2019 season. Are you getting taller?
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I got a really bad start and got in sort of stuck in the middle of a couple guys and sort of had to back out of it. Yeah, I worked my way through the field pretty quick and made the pass I need to, but by the time I got there, Tom had already got away, which is a bummer because I know I can run with him, so I really got to get a better start and fight for a win. And yeah, I just really like to thank my team and everyone, to my mum at home, and my sister and my girlfriend and everyone else that supports me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brock. Well done.
Thanks.
And the guy in 1st position, your winner for race 1 here of Super Sport, your local boy, Tom Taparis. Tom, 4 consecutive wins for the season. Well done.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Emma. Yeah, good race then to start the morning. It was sort of overcast, or it is still overcast, but the sun sort of came out, which made our lives a lot easier. But yeah, great to start the day off with a win. One more this afternoon. Let's hope the rain stays away and see if we can get it done again.
Well done. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Well, congratulations to our top 3. Tom Taparis, a fair weight off his shoulders, I imagine, with half of Goulburn here to see him to take that first race win. Congratulations also to Brock Pearson and Ollie Bayliss that joined him on the podium. We'll have a short break here at Wakefield Park and come back on the other side of this with continuing action from round 2 of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship.
Our business is making dreams come true. Since 2002, we've realised over 130,000 Yamaha dreams and financed more than 200,000 motorcycle and boating passions. We've helped turn the smallest dreams and the largest dreams into reality. Are you ready to make your dream a reality?
We have been working on making motor racing more exciting. We removed the outer shell of the car. People are going to love it. Yeah, I like it. We removed 2 of the wheels.
Seriously, guys?
I love it. What else? We crank up the speed. 300 Ks. There'll be heaps more overtaking.
It's motorcycle racing.
International Motorfest. Get your tickets at thebend.com.au.
We are the innovators, the specialists, the ones who power the wheels of progress. Extraordinary innovation for on-road and off-road terrain. Estacore technology for improved engine protection and performance. We are going a step beyond to a new generation of motor oils. This is the vision of innovation. The new 300V squared.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park in the second round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. We are getting ready now for the YMI Supersport 300. Look at the size of that grid, Steve Martin. There are so many bikes out there. We're almost running out of grid positions.
Yeah, it's incredible to see such a large field here at the Wakefield Park circuit. We are in for an absolute cracker of a race as they head off on their warm-up lap for this race, Phil. It's going to be incredible. We've already had one race earlier on in the weekend. Max Stauffer was the winner of that, and he seems to be the man on form at the moment.
He certainly is. He'll start from pole position for Supersport 300 as well. Joined on the front row of the grid by some familiar names, Benny Baker and Zach Levy.
John Litteris, Lockie Taylor and Hunter Ford start in row 2. Row 3, Travis Hall, who's doubling up championships this year. Harry Curry and Brandon Demery making a comeback into the championship. Good to see.
Yeah, Yanni Shaw, Senna Agius and Kyle O'Connell will start from row 4.
And of course, row 5 is Seth Crump, Xylus Bunting and Tristan Adamson.
Yes, Seth Crump struggling this weekend. Really been struggling to try and get the bike around this circuit with Luke Johnson, Callum O'Brien and Mitch Kuhn back there on row 6.
Travis Hall, of course, who we spoke about before. Harry Curry, Brandon Demery from row 7. Yanni Shaw, Senna Agius and Kyle O'Connell as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a massive, massive field.
In fact, there are 34 bikes in the field here this weekend, Steve. So that is a huge grid of 300 machines as the riders now coming round to take up their positions on the grid. And we had a couple of DNFs in yesterday's race. Grace Pooch, Kyle O'Connell and Jeremy Smock, who didn't actually finish the race yesterday. There were 31 finishes though, and as we mentioned, there was Max Stauffer, Benny Baker and John Litteris on the podium at the completion of the first 10-lap journey. You can see back there Yanni Shaw on the Bridgestone 333 machine. The first of the Kawasaki's in qualifying, just managing to get inside the top 10. And yesterday it was Senna Agius, the leading Kawasaki rider, on board the brand new 400 back in 9th. But they're really struggling this weekend at the tight and bumpy circuit. The restrictions put on the Kawasaki 400 really telling here at Wakefield Park.
Absolutely. Look at John Litteris. He is absolutely keen to go.
Ready to get a start now. Johnny Litteris back from the second row of the grid, and they blast off the line. Looked like a great start there from Travis Hall on board bike number 31, as well as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. But the familiar side of bike number 27, Max Stauffer, leads them through turn 1 and turn 2 and drives up the hill past KTM corner now.
Definitely not a lot of room there. What a massive group of riders head up through KTM, like you say, and into Suzuki. Max has always been so good off the start. Got a style like his father, you say. Well, I'll tell you what, I think this kid's going to go further.
Might be a few years of dirt track experience that are certainly helping Max out there with the starts as well. As we look back through the field, just keep our eye on Seth Crump on board bike number 57, trying to work his way through early, along with Senna Agius on board bike number 81, another rider with plenty of international experience. Was that Johnny Litteris there? There was a rider pulled out and has a problem with his motorcycle. It looked like a white bike, and it looks like we're missing Johnny Litteris, our podium man from yesterday, out of the lead group early on in this race.
Yeah, whatever happened there, Hunter Ford had to run wide as well, which caused a bit of a break up in the group now. Zach Levy, what a good start from him. He's not notorious for his good starts, but he's certainly up there, so he's going to be dangerous later on in this race.
Well, Benny Baker down the inside of Max Stauffer, but you can see his bike number 87, Zach Levy, as Benny Baker ran off the circuit there, went into the corner very deep. He stayed on the grass for a long time trying to keep the throttle pinned. He pulls back onto the circuit now, just behind Seth Crump on board bike number 57, the leading KTM RC390, and just ahead of him is Hunter Ford on board bike number 20.
Gee, that was a big mistake by Benny Baker. He gave away a lot of spots there, so maybe a podium could be out of not in the way for him. There's, of course, the number 20, Hunter Ford, and Lockie Taylor. They're vying now for that podium position as well. Big gap to first and second at the moment, though.
Yeah, it's very strange in this class to see such a massive gap between first and second. Max Stauffer has got bike number 87, the Puma RVs machine of Zach Levy. He's back on board Old Faithful. Well, that bike's done more race kilometres than probably the age of some of the riders in this class, Steve, as they make their way down the start-finish straight now to complete the first flying lap. Here is a replay of Ben Baker diving down the inside of Max Stauffer at turn 2. That is the Kawasaki corner. Unfortunately, He couldn't keep the bike on line, ran wide onto the ripple strip, and then that ripple strip is very bumpy. Couldn't turn the bike for fear of losing the front end. Had to run across the grass and lost a whole lot of positions, but more importantly, a whole lot of track position, as we have another rider that's run off the circuit. Was that Zach Levy on board bike number 87?
It looked a little bit like Zach Levy there. So, and another one's off as well. Not too sure who that is.
That looks like could be, is it?
It's Lachlan O'Brien, perhaps? Or Silas Bunting?
Yeah, maybe Silas Bunting, because you could definitely see there was a 4 in the number. Silas Bunting on board bike number 47. No, it wasn't Zach Levy that ran off. He still camped on the back of Maxi Stouffer's machine there. So lap 3 has been a pretty exciting one for a few of the riders. Looking at the timing monitor, fastest man on track on the first flying lap, Seth Crump in 5th position on board bike number 57 with a 106.625.
Well, we've got another faller there as well. Wait until we see the number of that, but these young guys and girls are certainly not wasting time. They're not settling down, are they? Yellow flags are out. There'll be no overtaking into there, and Zach Levy's just gone through. Hopefully that yellow flag was in.
I wasn't sure where that yellow flag was actually waving. Was it down there at turn 2?
It could have been into turn 2, I think, but that's not for us to decide. But look at Zach Levy, how hard he's pushing his machine at the moment. He's got that thing moving around all over the place. Benny Baker on a comeback, tries to go up the inside of Seth Crump. Not going to do it there.
Rider that you really need to keep your eye on, though, is bike number 151, Lockie Taylor on the fluoro yellow and red machine. He is making his way forward. He was the fastest man on track on the last lap with a 106.424. Those lap times are still about half a second off the fastest laps being done in yesterday's race. The fastest man in yesterday's race was, I think, Johnny Littrus on board his Yamaha R3 with a 105.974. And that was pretty close to a new lap record as well from Johnny Littrus.
Yeah, and Lockie Taylor is on a charge. He's caught up that big gap now. He's right on the back of the two guys out front, Zach Levy and Max Stauffer. So Lockie Taylor looks like he may have found something overnight. He's very, very competitive. He was in the leading group yesterday, but wasn't able to win. Max Stauffer won in yesterday's race 1, but Lockie Taylor has joined the fray. And he's had a look now. It's going to be difficult for those 2 or 3 guys behind to catch up. But what a race Seth Crump is having. He's come from nowhere yesterday, and today he's really found some rhythm.
Yeah, Seth Crump was 11th in yesterday's race with a fastest lap of 106.9. So far in this one, he's done a 106.6, so he's found 0.3 of a second in a day. And the track temperature probably still a little bit down on yesterday as well. That lap from Johnny Littrus, in fact, was a new lap record yesterday afternoon, eclipsing the previous record held by Hunter Ford, who is in this race on board bike number 20.
Well, a couple of years ago, the lap record here was a 108 on essentially the same bikes. So
well, up the inside goes Zach Levy on board bike number 87. Lockie Taylor has joined the party now. We have a 3-bike battle for the lead. Max Stauffer is the other sandwich in between those two bikes. But he just pulls out of the slipstream and blasts his way on past. There may be a slight aerodynamic advantage for Max Stauffer over Zach Levy, and also the fact that Max would probably weigh, what, 45, 50 kilos wringing wet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say maybe, I'd say definitely. Yeah, a bit of a wave there from Lockie Taylor when Zach looked over his shoulder. Zach loves to know where everyone is, but Lockie Taylor there, just letting him know.
A little bit cheeky.
Yep, I'm here and I'm coming. Don't you worry. I'll be slipstreaming you any time, any minute, because another guy who's super skinny is that Lockie Taylor. There goes Zach Levy up the inside. On the limit, you can see the front of his bike just juddering up and down over the bumps there, but manages to hold it together, gets a nice clean line through and onto that start. But it wasn't long before the small, slightly built Max Stauffer went back past.
Well, Max has started to get away a little bit here as we're on lap 6 of the 10-lap journey now, so just over half race distance. Got another rider down, that's bike number 864.
Yeah.
That's Tristan Adamson.
Yeah, Tristan Adamson.
Actually, Tristan Adamson finished in the top 10 yesterday, so that's disappointment for Tristan in race 2 of their 3-race program here this weekend. Lockie Taylor is certainly into the slipstream of Zach Levy, but doesn't seem to be able to get up there. We've got a red flag stoppage. So red flag, there is an incident somewhere around the circuit that has caused a red flag stoppage. We were 6 laps into the 10-lap journey. So the top 9 had all crossed the start-finish line when that red flag came out. And looks like we're being told now race declared. So I wouldn't be surprised that because we haven't made it to the 75% mark, that there might not be full points there, but we'll wait for confirmation from our officials, as one rider has unfortunately come to grief. And immediately on scene, Steve Martin, the Race Safe medical team, the premier motorcycle response team anywhere in the country. Doesn't matter whether it's road racing, motocross, enduro, whatever. Race Safe are always on the scene and do a great job.
Absolutely. And not only in motorsport, they were involved in all sorts of different sports around the place as well. My son was in a human-powered vehicle race, one of the biggest ones in Victoria, and they were there as well looking after the cyclists and people up there. So it's good to see that Race Safe are directly on the scene and that everything is safe. But the one thing is for sure, the winner of that race, it will go back a lap. And if you remember the lap before, did Jamie Stauffer, sorry, not Jamie, Max, get past before the start-finish line, Zach Levy? Zach Levy may have won this race.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, and it will also be interesting to see what sort of decision he's made in relation to full or half points. That crash was involving bike number 292 of Ryan Smith at the bottom of the hill there at the YMI corner. And he is in the hands of the very experienced Race Safe people at the moment.
It's quite tricky, that YMI corner. It's one of the few left-handers here. It's the only real left-hander at this circuit. Not a lot of heat gets into that side, but it's also quite slippery and it's off-camber.
Confirmation of your results. Max Stauffer takes the win by 0.0337 of a second over Zach Levy, and Lockie Taylor, who was essentially prevented from making a last lap lunge, will finish in third place on the podium. Ben Baker in fourth, Seth Crump in fifth, his best result of the weekend. Senna Agius in sixth position, the first of the Kawasaki Ninja 400s. Then Travis Hall, Harry Curry, Yanni Shaw and Xylus Bunting round out the top 10.
Yeah, and what a good top 10 it was. Brandon Demery, 11th on number 11. Jacob Ralston in 12th. 13th was Callum O'Brien on the Kawasaki. Mitch Kuhn with his Larry-looking leathers in 14th. 15th and last point was Taylor Ralph. We're not used to seeing her in that position. Peter Nerlich in 16th. Grace Pouch, good to see her out and about on 17th. Bronson Pickett, Ryan Smith and Keegan Pickering in 20th, as you say, with her shin splints from playing NRL or whatever it is.
Rugby.
Rugby.
And I think it was also the fact too that she has the issue with her ankles because she fell down the stairs as we go all the way back through the field. A lot of those riders finishing one lap down simply because they had not completed the same lap as the leaders as they make their way through. Just a big shout out to Brendan Watson there. He reckons he weighs 3 times as much as some of the riders out there in the field because he's 85 kilos, and he said that's without his leathers on.
Well, he better start training.
Well, he's as he said he has. He's probably past the racing of 300, but he had one there and he thought he'd go racing.
Still fairly early in the morning here, and as we saw, a massive crowd. Good to see the rider now has been put onto the stretcher and is being put away. But a massive crowd here, Phil, and you know, it's just so good to see everybody turn out, not only to see the 2 local heroes here, but you know, all of the riders that are involved with this you know, event.
Well, just been confirmed on our CompuTime timing monitor that full points will be awarded for that race. It was 60% complete. So full points to everyone. That will mean that Max Stauffer now moves to 118 points for the championship and extending his lead all the time. We'll be hearing from our top 3 from Parc Fermé very, very shortly with Max Stauffer, Zach Levy and Lockie Taylor.
Lockie Taylor's bike is always beautifully presented, isn't it? It's always clean, and I love that fluoro. You know, some people say fluoro went out in the 80s, but all in all, I love the look of it.
Well, let's have a look at the highlights of the 6-lap race. As we saw from the second round, the Hugh Johnny Littrus getting a great start as they made their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. It was Max Stauffer on 27 that led them through with Ben Baker, Zach Levy and Johnny Littrus all well placed.
It was all very tight up the front. Benny Baker there up the inside and took the lead at one point. We thought that he was going to run away with it, but he ran off the track instead. Probably could have tipped it back on, but he lost a whole load of points there. Zach Levy took his turn at the front with Max Stauffer and Lockie Taylor in the slipstream there. Over the line he went, number 27 in the lead when it counted.
But also, too, the top three had started to get away, and Ben Baker was in a pretty lonely fourth position at that stage. Seth Crump was also starting to move his way forward as the riders started their journey up the hill. The red flag came out, and the race was declared on lap 6 of the 10-lap journey, and full points were awarded. So Max Stouffer moves into 118 points and the championship lead by 38 points over Senna Agius, and Harry Currie has moved up into third place with 77 points.
Yeah, it was an amazing race, and fantastic to see that, you know, they got that race out of the way. It's always, I don't know what you think, Phil, but one of the most exciting races of the weekend.
Well, and that's what we said at the first round of the championship, that the class of 2019 had a fair bit to live up to, because the last couple of years in this class have been absolutely sensational racing, and we've started off 2019 in great fashion. Let's go down to the podium, hear from our top three.
Starting with Lockie Taylor in third position. Congratulations, great racing and some much needed points for you.
Yeah, after round one we didn't go to plan quite well, but no, that race just then was a cracker. Credit to all the boys. Massive thanks to Shark Leathers and everyone who helps out. X-Line Helmets, Ride Dynamics, LKI, Yamaha, YRD, all those boys, massive help. So yeah, no, it was a good race.
Well done. In second position, well done, Zach Levy. Great to see you back at the podium. Your first for the 2019 season.
Yeah, that was a tough one. We literally just slapped that bike together in 20 minutes. So I've got to say a massive thanks to Jake, my uncle, Craig, and everyone in our pit. They just done an awesome job, and just to get me out on a bike and to do that, you know, I was gunning for the win there. The bike was handling like a dream, and yeah, bring on the next one.
Good luck for the next one. And in first position, yet again, another win for this guy, Max Stouffer, just absolutely unstoppable at the moment. Well done.
Thank you, Emma. It was a tough race out there. Lost a bit of front grip, but yeah, I was able to pick up the win again.
Well done to Max Stouffer, taking out the win for the second race. And guys, unfortunately, I've got the umbrella. Should make things pretty interesting if there's a bit of rain falling for the race coming up just after this break. It'll be Kawasaki Superbikes.
Next, we head to Dungog, New South Wales for rounds 3 and 4. To stay updated on all AORC news, head to the aorc.org.au website or check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park in the second round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. The big boys are out on track. We are getting ready for the first of our Kawasaki Superbike races here this weekend. And it is going to be an extremely close race because qualifying, the top 8-9 riders were separated by absolutely nothing. We've seen the fastest ever motorcycle lap of Wakefield Park here this weekend, and the man that will start from pole position, responsible for that lap, Crew Halliday on board the Yamaha YZF R1M.
Yeah, I've got a feeling the lap record is going to go. There is Crew Halliday as he heads out of the pit lane at the moment. And look at the frenetic action in pit lane as we get ready for this Superbike race that's about to start in a few minutes' time, Phil. I don't know if it's going to be so hard to pick a winner. I don't know who you think's going to win, Phil. I don't even know if you can pick a winner because it's just, as you say, so close out there.
Well, let's go down to the grid and find out from Emma who she thinks is going to win this race because we know it's going to be a pretty tightly fought one.
This is a tight one. Well, let's think. It was Wayne Maxwell who won here last year. He's starting from second position on the grid. I know he's very, very hungry, but he has to get past Crew. Hey, guys, I just wanted to update you. A bit of rain is just starting to fall. It should make things very interesting. Boys?
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. And, well, my prediction, Steve Martin, is that anyone from the top 8 positions, probably top 9 positions on the grid, I would not be surprised to see them win this race. Because the front row of the grid, Emma mentioned Wayne Maxwell, he won a race here last year. Troy Herfoss won a race last year. Troy Herfoss is the lap record holder here in a race of a 58.048. I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised to see the lap record go. But keep your eye back on the second row of the grid. Mad Mike Jones on board bike number 46, filling in for Troy Bayliss on board the Desmo Sport Ducati. Daniel Falzon and Josh Waters have all shown flashes of brilliance here this weekend. As we can see from the top of the circuit there, a definite raindrop on the monitor.
And you know that when you do get those drops of rain, that could change the complexion of this race altogether. We could see someone from way down in the pack come through and win. Perhaps Ted Collins, it could be his day. He qualified in 16th. Boy, what a weekend he had. Massive crash earlier on. The team had to rebuild the bike, but these conditions just might suit him. But at the moment, I do not think that there's enough water on the track or it's threatening enough for the teams to do anything else. Let's head back down to M.
Ted Collins, wow, what a start to your weekend. You had a really big accident. Great work to the team for getting this bike out.
Yeah, they put in huge hours to get this bike built for me, but yesterday we struggled a little bit, you know, just having a new bike. It was all completely different to what I had on Friday, but we still managed to go faster. So we've got to look at the positives from that. Race day is always my day. You know, I'm never really great at qualifying, so I just have to really focus on getting a good start. And I know once half race distance comes, I'm going to come into my own, and then I'm just going to have to pick them all off.
Bit of rain just starting to fall. That should make things interesting.
Yeah, at the moment I don't think it's really an issue, but yeah, definitely if that gets a bit any heavier, we're going to have a bit of fun on our hands, I think.
Great to see you, A-OK. Go get him. Of course, his teammate, Ted Collins' teammate, Glenn Ellerton, starting from 10th position. We'll try and grab him later. We'll come up here to Glenn Scott, who just continuing to improve and improve. We spoke about this earlier, qualified 19th at Phillip Island, 13th, certainly a lot better. No, hang on, where are you? You're yeah, you are 13.
13, yeah. No, look, we're always improving every session. We're really happy. It would have been nice to get into Q2 yesterday, but look, we only missed out by next to nothing, so 13th is a good position to start from, and it's going to be a tough race. It's going to be a really hard one, but I'm looking forward to it.
Always smiling. Go get him, mate.
Thank you.
And we'll head across here to Damon Rees, who's just about to jump on his bike. Damon, sorry, just going to grab you quickly. You've certainly improved a lot over the weekend. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a really good weekend so far. We came over here for the test last week with a lot of the guys, and we made big improvements with the bike and the feeling, and I really do enjoy this track, which helps. And then I guess straight off yesterday and Friday as well, we got the ball rolling really fast and got going fast.
You've got a very, very competitive pack ahead of you.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight, that's for sure. And to be honest, I'd just be happy to still be in 12th at the end of the race. The guys that I'm racing with are so experienced and so fast, so it's an awesome learning curve for me.
Good luck, guys. We're going to make our way up to the front. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. Great to hear from those riders on the grid. Let's have a look at a head-to-head of the two Yamaha Racing Team riders. Crew Halliday scoring pole position here this weekend and takes a 1-0 lead over his teammate. He's had 2 podiums already this weekend. Neither of them have tasted victory. Currently 2nd and 9th in the championship. Crew Halliday coming into this round 55 points and 2nd place and looking pretty strong this weekend. But Falzon has also looked incredibly strong, Steve.
Yeah, he certainly has. Falzon running fairly strongly at Phillip Island, fell off and ruined his weekend there. He won't want that to happen again here, but this is a track that he's had good results on before, and let's remember that he knows how to win. But let's head down to Emma. She's with Crew Halliday now.
Crew Halliday, you were really surprised with getting pole position. Well done, a nice clear track ahead of you.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. It's, you know, the problem is getting pole, it means you've got to actually do something with it. So, no, it's going to be hard. You know, I've got Wayne and Troy, if you've seen from previous years, they're the 2 to beat. So, you know, we have done that 1 lap. Now we just got to try and do it across 20 laps. So, I just want to get away cleanly and just try to ride smooth. You know, I know I can do it. I know the bike can do it. The fitness is there. It's just, you know, it's such a tight track and you've got so many other competitors barking at your ankles. It's just going to be, you know, just hopefully race without the carnage. So, I'm just going to try to stay on the bike, get as many points as I can, and, you know, the championship's a long run.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the man he really needs to keep his eye on is, of course, the man that's the governor of Goulburn, Troy Herfoss. Let's have a look at the head-to-head of him and his new teammate in 2019, Mark Kyoto. Neither of them had any pole positions, podiums or wins so far. Troy Herfoss, after not a good first round of the championship, currently sits in 6th, and Mark in 14th. 41 points for Troy Herfoss, but this is the round where he can get 2019 back on track. And Mark Kyoto is continuing to adapt to the Honda this year after jumping off the Suzuki last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's go down to Emma now because she's with that man, Troy Herfoss.
That's right. The local boy had a win here last year, actually won the round. Troy Herfoss starting with a clear track ahead of you, but some very, very hungry guys not too far ahead.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be very tough 2 races. We only missed pole by half a tenth or so yesterday. And everyone's hungry to sort of stop my streak in Goulburn. So it's good conditions here at the moment, and we're looking forward to the race. So let's just see how the 20 laps go.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, the crowd now getting ready for the singing of the Australian national anthem. Plenty of spectators here at Wakefield Park to take in this round. Aidan Wagner, who will start from the 3rd row of the grid, leads the championship on 71 points from Crew Halliday on 56 and Josh Waters on 50. Mike Jones on 4th place after a strong first round. Brian Starring only 1 point behind in 5th. Then it's Troy Herfoss, Wayne Maxwell, who also had 1 DNF at the first round, looking to get back on track here at Phillip Island. Glenn Allerton, he will be strong this weekend, loves this track. He's tied with points with Wayne Maxwell for 7th position. Daniel Falzon and Ted Collins round out the top 10. Also a big shout out to Wayne Hepburn, the team principal for the Next Gen team, who is unfortunately in Goulburn Hospital watching it on the live stream this weekend. Back down to M.
Wagner, just wanted to get a bit of an update on that shoulder. Obviously a big off earlier this weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. The shoulder's definitely second hand. Not sure if we'll make it to the end of the race, but I'm going to try my best. We've tried every strapping procedure and hopefully it can hang in there, but definitely needs reconstructive surgery yet again.
Good to see you A-OK though. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, his shoulder's not too good. Still manages to lap in the 58s in warm-up this morning. And, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Aidan Wagner is going to push on, even with one hand, to the end of this 20-lap race and take some points away.
Yeah, well, I heard that his shoulder was popping in and out throughout the weekend. So it was, you know, an incredible feat for him just to be out there. Even with that shoulder injury that he's got, this track, it couldn't have happened at a worse place. It's so tight here.
It is extremely tight. It's also pretty tight between these two, Wayne Maxwell and Josh Waters, the new teammates at Team Suzuki X-Star Australia. None of them have had any pole positions this year, but they've both had a podium, and Wayne Maxwell has also had a win as well. Currently 3rd and 7th in the championship, but what penalised Wayne Maxwell at the first round was that very costly DNF after a controversial race 2.
Absolutely. Josh has definitely been the quiet achiever this year, but watch out for Wayne Maxwell because he needs to win here. He's got a long way to catch up in that championship, as you see, and as you said, he sits 7th in that championship now after that DNF. He didn't want that DNF at Phillip Island, but it happened. Racing's racing, and boy, has he got some time to make up.
And he certainly has put it behind him now because he has been fast here all weekend. He only missed out on the pole position by hundredths, literally hundredths of a second. It is that tight here at Wakefield Park. It is only a 57-second lap time. There was some talk in qualifying that we may have even got into the 56s. Crew Halliday knocking on the door with that 57.138. As we mentioned, Steve Martin, the fastest ever motorcycle lap here at the 2.2 kilometre spectator circuit at Goulburn, and a massive field of 24 superbikes just about ready to go racing. Keep your eye on the second row of the grid, also too with Mad Mike Jones, Daniel Falzon and Josh Waters. They will be strong here this weekend.
Of course, your lap record holder, Mad Mike Jones from Phillip Island, Ducati mounted this time. Troy Bayliss not in the field, out injured with that finger. Mike Jones getting a golden opportunity to ride for his old team. So good to see Mike Jones out there.
What a stand-in.
Yeah, absolutely. What a contender. 2015 Australian champions as well. So Mike Jones with everything at his feet, everything to play for.
That third row of the grid too, Aidan Wagner, Matt Walters and Brian Starring. And when you look back all the way through those first few rows of the grid, there are Australian champions everywhere. Back on the next row too, Glenn Allerton as well on board the Next Gen Motorsports machine. And there are some really good people to keep your eye on back there, including Al Phillips and Damon Rees. No surprise to see him up there on the 4th row of the grid and making it through to Q2 in qualifying, because he was blindingly fast on a Supersport 600 around here, and he has adapted to that Superbike incredibly quickly. As we head off on the final warm-up now before we go racing in the Kawasaki Superbike class.
It's Crew Halliday in pole position with Wayne Maxwell taking that important second spot, and Troy Herfoss on the front row where he needs to be.
Yeah, keep your eye on the Governor of Goulburn. Keep your eye also on bike number 46, Mad Mike Jones on board the Ducati, Daniel Falzon on board the Yamaha, and Josh Waters on the second of the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia machines.
Aidan Wagner, Matty Walters, good qualifying from him, and Brian Starring off the 3rd row of the grid.
Their 4th row of the grid, as we mentioned, the 3-times Australian champion Glenn Allerton, Al Phillips, and also New Zealand Supersport champion previously, Damon Rees on board the Honda.
Glenn Scott, Marcus Kyoto and Lachlan Eppes off of row 5.
Row 6 will be the second of the Next Gen Motorsport machines with Ted Collins, Sloane Frost, our Kiwi visitor that's a regular in the Australian Championship, and the fast-starting Arthur Cecis on board his Suzuki.
Brendan McIntyre, Phil Chai on the Aprilia, good to see, and also Will Davidson is out there too.
That's row 7 of the grid. Row 8 will be Michael Edwards. Hamish McMurray had a big crash this morning. Hopefully he'll be able to make his way out into the field. And Paul van der Heijden on board bike number 76, the BMW S1000RR.
And that, Phil, rounds out this all-important grid.
Yep, 24 bikes making their way down to the grid now. Kawasaki Superbike class getting ready to go racing. Crew Halliday, Wayne Maxwell and Troy Herfoss. 3 different manufacturers on the front row of the grid. This is going to be an epic 20-lap battle for the championship points here and the all-important bragging rights heading into this afternoon's race and then the next round at the Bend Motorsport Park. I honestly cannot pick a winner from those first 3 rows of the grid. It is going to be an extremely tight race. We go ready to go racing now. Kawasaki Superbike class, race number 1. A great jump off the line for Crew Halliday on board bike number 65. Maxwell's got the run down the inside and will take the lead as they make their way up the hill for the first time. Around the outside, Brian Starring on board his Ninja ZX-10RR as well. Slots back now behind Josh Waters as they charge up through KTM to the top of the hill at Suzuki.
Yeah, that was a pretty good start by Brian Starring, but Wayne Maxwell is exactly where he needs to be now with Crew Halliday behind him. How fast was Crew through practice? Very, very fast. He won't be scared to sit there. Troy Herfoss is in a good position too. We've got the 3 main contenders contenders right where they need to be. Herfoss is already looking for a way past. Falzon got a cracker of a start too. He always does.
Well, the thing about Troy Herfoss around this circuit is that he seems to be able to overtake in places where other people can't. And as we look at the field now, making their way through the final corner, through AGV corner and down to the final grip, a little bit of a gap starting to open up now with Mad Mike Jones trying to find his way past Brian Starring on the fast-starting BC Performance Kawasaki.
Yeah, absolutely. As they head up that main straight for the first time, it looks like Maxwell has got a little bit of a gap already. He's put his head down, but I'm sure that won't extend too much. Josh Waters is just in there too. It's going to be hurting him at the moment to see his teammate out there. There's a lot of work to do to get him up the front, but it's very, very early in this race.
Yeah, the top 5 have just started to eke their way ahead. That second group being led by Brian Starring. Mad Mike Jones tries up the inside. There's not much room there, but just enough to sneak a 12.99 Panigale through, it would appear. Aidan Wagner also too is right on the back of Brian Starring now. Glenn Allerton and Al Phillips in there as well. As Aidan Wagner tests the shoulder out down at the bottom of the hill. There must be so much force going through that shoulder on the brakes there at the bottom of the hill at the YMI corner.
Well, he needs that reconstruction surgery, so you know what? Give it 110% now. Worry about it on Monday.
Well, Brian Starring is not the best starter, and we also know that his bike is usually fast towards the end of the race. So he's got off to a pretty good start, queuing up to try and find their way past is Glenn Allerton on board the Next Gen Motorsports BMW. Have a look at the replay of this overtaking manoeuvre from Mad Mike Jones, and that was just incredibly mad as he went up the inside. Not a lot of room and a tricky corner to achieve that at.
Absolutely, but meanwhile, back out front, it's Wayne Maxwell stretching the field. Crew Halliday, though, I'll tell you what, he's managing to stay with him quite easily, and he's that group is bunching up.
Yeah, I tell you what, keep your eye also on Aidan Wagner. He looks like he's starting to go with Mad Mike Jones as well after getting past Brian Starring. Al Phillips is looking incredibly racy behind the 3-time Australian champion Glenn Allerton on board bike number 14, the Next Gen Motorsports machine. And Matt Walters is also challenging the back of Al Phillips as Al runs a fraction wide. Matt Walters was on a much tighter line, and right behind Matt Walters, we've also got Damon Rees on board bike number 92 as well.
Yeah, good to see that leading group up there at the moment. Still sitting pretty stable at the moment. Wayne Maxwell won't be wanting to do anything silly at the moment. He knows that this is a long, long race around here, and he wants to look after those tyres. All the bikes will still have pretty much full grip. When it gets to around lap 10 or lap 12, that's when things will start to change.
First flying lap, new lap record. Steve Martin, unfortunately for the holder of that new lap record, it was just broken 3 times consecutively as they came round across the line. The fastest man on track in that last lap, Mad Mike Jones, a 57.569. That is half a second faster than the existing lap record at the start of this race.
Well, Mad Mike Jones is on an absolute mission. He's look at the gap that he's pulled now over the Kawasaki rider Brian Starring. He really has caught onto the back of the group. He could be one to watch. He could work his way through. We know that Ducati's got plenty of torque, and that's what you need to go fast at this circuit.
Well, if Mad Mike Jones continues this performance, my prediction for the rest of the season is that the Desmo Sport Ducati squad will have to find a second motorcycle and have 2 riders for the rest of the season, because Mad Mike Jones is doing a great job here filling in for the 3-time Superbike World Champion Troy Bayliss, as we now have a lead group of 4 with Daniel Falzon on the second aboard. The second Yamaha R1Ms has now dragged himself right up onto the back of Troy Herfoss as they make their way to the top of the hill, and it is Wayne Maxwell on board a Suzuki, leading from Crew Halliday on a Yamaha, Troy Herfoss on a Honda, and Daniel Falzon on a Yamaha, with Josh Waters just off the back of this lead group. So let's keep an eye on his lap times over the next couple of laps. And all of them in that lead group, apart from Josh Waters, back in the top 6, all in the 57s on that last lap.
Definitely not going to be so easy for Troy Herfoss this year, is it? He's sitting there in 3rd position, but he's not the only fast guy this year. Everybody's fast. 57.9 last time round for Wayne Maxwell as he heads into that final YMI Revs Your Heart Out corner.
Just having a look at the lap times there. Glenn Allerton in a 59.0 on that last lap. I think he may be getting held up a fraction and can't quite get the Next Gen Motorsport machine through and really show the pace that he's got. You can see there Crew Halliday working the suspension overtime down into the Kawasaki corner as they make their way up the top of the hill now. It is Maxwell just starting to pull a bike length or 2 out over a Crew Halliday.
Yeah, I don't know about a bike length or 2. They all look pretty close to me up there, Phil, through Suzuki corner as they head down the hill into AGV. Big sponsor of the series is AGV as well. Good to have them involved. But as they head down there into that tight left hand, you've got to be so careful through there, Phil, because it's the only one of the circuit so easy to get it wrong through there. Bumpy and high side city. So the boys are going to have to take a little bit easy through there at this part of the race.
Well, Wayne Maxwell was the fastest man in that lead group on the last lap of the race, but I reckon this time round, Crew Halliday and Troy Herfoss have really started to put the pressure on. Falzon going with them as well as they come down the main straight here and cross the start-finish line to complete 6 laps of the journey. The fastest man on track was Wayne Maxwell with a 57.609.
Yeah, as they head up again up into KTM. I reckon, I don't know what you think, Phil, but to me it looks like Crew Halliday is actually having to ride over the limit at the moment. Maxwell is looking the smoothest out of that bunch, with also the Honda rider, Troy Herfoss there. Look at Herfoss go. Herfoss makes a dive up the inside. And how easy did he make that? Look, he's on the limit. Can he hold it? And he gets through. Herfoss through. Herfoss is on a charge.
Yeah, you could see he was asking all sorts of questions there at the front end of the Penrite Honda. And there was seemingly answers coming back from the setup on that machine, doing a great job. As we comes down to the final corner, it is still Troy Herfoss that holds down second position. Halliday closes up behind, and Falzon had the best seat in the house to watch everything going on there as they come down the straight. It is Maxwell, the fastest man on track on the last lap. Troy Herfoss, a 57.527. He is really starting to pile on the coals now, Troy Herfoss.
Absolutely, and that probably is a new lap record, 57.527. So not only does he get past a couple of guys, he also manages to get the lap record. So Herfoss is certainly starting to pile on the pressure now. There's Ted Collins on screen at the moment. He's battling a few injuries of his own. He had a big crash over the weekend. Good to see him out there. He's dicing with Marcus Kyoto and making his way forward. Marcus is still getting used to that Penrite CBR 1000. He's doing a good job at adapting to it too around this very tight 2.2 kilometre circuit.
Yeah, 2 of our fastest rookies from last year, along with the CCs as well. As we go back to the lead of this race, it is Maxwell on 47, Troy Herfoss on 1. These two have done plenty of battling around here at Wakefield Park in years gone by. And Troy Herfoss has always managed to come out on top at the end of the weekend. Wayne Maxwell certainly wants to repay the favour. Remember here last year, they were chesting each other in Parc Fermé after qualifying, after accusing each other of using toes to get the fastest lap times in qualifying. And at the moment, they have got the fastest lap times in the race because they are starting to pull away from the 2 Yamahas of Crew Halliday and Daniel Falzon, who can't quite match the pace at the moment. It will be very interesting to see as we come down to the bottom of the hill if Troy Herfoss is in a position. No, I don't think he's close enough to try and launch an attack on Wayne Maxwell. He closes up on the Team Suzuki X-Star Australia machine, but not quite close enough to lunge on the brakes, as we saw with Crew Halliday.
Let's head down to Em with an update.
Grief during this race. We did have a bit of a talk about it pre-race. Yeah, I don't want him staying out there getting more injured or causing a crash, so we've done all we can.
Tough luck, mate.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, Daniel Falzon has got through. Crew Halliday's made a mistake, and Falzon has got himself in a podium position now. Falzon is on a little bit of a charge. Let's see if he can close that gap down now. I think that Crew may have just been starting to move around. Crew's definitely moving around a lot more than he would need to be at this part of the race. Big gap to close down now to Troy Herfoss in second position, but Daniel Falzon knows he has to do it.
Yeah, I think Falzon just realised there it was now or never. We're on lap 10, so half race distance of this Kawasaki Superbike race. Maxwell and Herfoss were just starting to get away at the front. And Herfoss has dragged himself right up onto the back of Wayne Maxwell now. There was only a 1/10 of a second between them as they came through the last lap. There you can see Crew Halliday was getting in there extremely hot, ran a fraction wide, and Falzon took great advantage of that opportunity to move himself up into third place.
And said a quick thank you in his helmet at the same time as he went past, because he made it pretty easy for him, did Crew. But Crew is on the absolute limit. Talking about the limit, Wayne Maxwell now knows that he's got a challenge on his hand. These two guys, Phil, also, if you think of the championship position, they're the two guys that at Phillip Island got the least amount of points. Although Maxwell was competitive, he had that crash, and Herfoss, well, he had a terrible weekend. So they need to be up at the front of these races if they're going to be in with a chance of winning this championship this year.
Well, and also too, when you have a look at it, all the top guys in the championship have all had the one race that's really cost them. Maxwell at Phillip Island, Aidan Wagner here now at Phillip Island with that injured shoulder, and as you can see, his bike being wheeled up pit lane as we're already starting to get into the back markers there. Bike number 37 gets out of the way. Herfoss has a big lunge up the inside, can't quite hold the Penrite Honda on line. Maxwell goes back into the lead.
Well, Troy Herfoss has introduced himself anyway. He said, hello, my name's Troy Herfoss, and I'm going to try and win this race. So Wayne Maxwell knows what he's got to do now. He's got to try and close all of those inside lines off. He's perhaps got to be a little bit careful there as they come up on a back marker. Up the inside, they both go. Herfoss tries to profit from it, runs a little bit wide, manages to hold it together. Maxwell hard on the gas, leaves him room on the way out, but retains that lead, does Maxwell. He knows he's got company now.
Possibly the most unrequired introduction ever.
No,
That's bottom of the hill there. I thought Herfoss was going to go up the inside. That's one of his favourite overtaking places, is at the bottom of the hill there at the YMI corner. And he just seems to be able to get that Penrite Honda in there. That also, Steve Martin, where we were watching from on Friday afternoon, is another strong point for Troy Herfoss, the way he gets through the AGV corner and gets the run down that back straight.
Yeah, absolutely. He does a great job at that. And when we were watching up there, as you can see, one of the back markers there moving off. I think that's the South Australian.
Yeah, that's Paul Vanderheiden on board his BMW.
Yep, absolutely. So good to see him move out of the way.
Crew Halliday right onto the back of his teammate Daniel Falzer now in the battle for the final place on the podium. Fastest man in that last lap was actually Wayne Maxwell with a 57.998, but I don't think we can take too much of that because there was certainly that back marker that caused them to probably lose a couple of tenths of a second there.
You can just see how smooth Wayne Maxwell's bike's looking. It looks smooth, but it is actually sliding all over the place at the moment. And Herfoss can see that. The setup on that Suzuki, both of those bikes, in fact, looks impeccable. The right mix of soft versus hard braking area, and that's why I reckon these two guys are able to break away. But once again, Herfoss, a little bit later on the brakes, he dives up the inside. He makes it this time. He holds the line, and he now takes the lead. Maxwell should have the drive out, though. How fast is that Suzuki down the straight?
Well, that was a typical Troy Herfoss manoeuvre. Late on the brakes, just parked the bike in the middle of the corner. There was no way that Wayne Maxwell could find his way around, and Herfoss maintained the drive out of the corner. On that last lap, Herfoss was the only rider in the lead group to uncork a 57-second lap, a 57.980. Maxwell, Halliday, Falzon, Mad Mike Jones, Josh Waters, all in the 58s. Brian Starring, Al Phillips and Matt Walters back in the 59s as they continue their battle for positions 7, 8, 9 and 10 with Damon Rees inside the top 10 on board his Honda.
Yeah, that was a pretty assertive move by Troy Herfoss to dive up the inside there. We knew he could do it, and look at him now. He's starting to put a bit of time into Wayne Maxwell. Maxwell's got to be a little bit careful here. Does he go for the win, or does he settle for second place if he can get it? Well, second place would be a good result for him because I'm sure he's aware that Herfoss is behind him in the championship.
Well, Herfoss is really starting to stretch out a bit of a lead now as they come round through the final corner. He is really piling on the coals. Fitness is not a question that we need to ask about Troy Herfoss at the moment, the amount of fitness work that he does. Wayne Maxwell came into the season with a broken collarbone. He's been working hard on the fitness. Look at the suspension of that Penrite Honda. The K-Tech working overtime to try and keep that bike on track as he made his way across the bumps and drives up the hill now to the top of Suzuki.
Yeah, the change of direction impeccable through there too. Hard on the gas through here. Apex perfect all the way out to the ripple strip. Diving into the inside once again. Just gets that perfect apex, takes whatever line he wants as they head into the fish hook, which it's called the YMI fish hook this weekend. Hard on the gas again, left up here into the fast right, the AGV corner. Keep the mid-corner speed up through there.
Yeah, there's Glenn Scott now closing in onto the back of Damon Rees. That's for the final position inside the top 10. So Glenn Scott on board bike number 168, really starting to ask some questions now of Damon Rees. You can see just ahead of that is Matt Walters and also Al Phillips having their own little battle along with Brian Starring just ahead of them.
Good to see the Kiwi Damon Rees out there in our field. Sloane Frost as well here this weekend. Damon Rees came over for the test, flew over for the test. He leaves this bike in Australia. He's got a couple back home. A brand new bike for him, but he did have a crash and put a few scratches on it, so it's not as new as it was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, Scott having a big look up the inside, a big lunge on the brakes down into a turn 2, able to keep it on track through the Kawasaki corner and moves up into 10th position. Glenn Scott on board bike number 168. There's a bit of movement at the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, different models as well. Only on the R model. There is Sloane Frost as he drives up the inside of Michael Edwards from Queensland. So Sloane Frost on his Suzuki doing a good job here at Wakefield Park.
Yeah, great to see a couple of Kiwis coming over and regulars now in the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship here at Wakefield Park, round 2. And just looking at Mark Kyoto, where has he dropped back to? He's back to 13th position, Mark Kyoto. So having some real difficulties at the moment on board that Honda here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bike that's a fabulous bike. We can see how good it works around here in the hands of this man, Troy Herfoss. But Marcus Kyoto just having a problem adapting. Let's head down to Emma.
Guys, just here with Dion Coote from Honda, and wow, what a good battle between Troy and Wayne. I know he really wants this win.
Yeah, he wants to remind people that he can do the job, and he's currently doing that now. So fingers crossed we can hold this till the end.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Anyone that needs reminding of Troy Herfoss's abilities obviously has a pretty short memory, Steve Martin, because it was only one bad round for him in recent memory, and that was the first round of the championship where he was doing double duty in World Superbike as well. At the same time, he was finishing inside the top 10 in 5th and 6th position. But when you have a look at the performances of him here over the last couple of years at Wakefield Park, he has pretty much been unbeatable, whether it's for the race win or the round win.
There's an adage in racing, you're only as good as your last result. So I think he wants to put that right and show everybody here that he is the king of Wakefield Park. He has been in the past, and I'll tell you what, the way he's going right now, Phil, he's going to put it right here again. And he needs to, because he needs the points. He can't afford to let anything happen. He can't afford to lose points. He's not leading the championship like Aidan Wagner is at the moment. He's way back down the field.
Well, this is going to be a big shake-up for the championship because we've got Herfoss and Maxwell. They're going to take maximum points away from this round. Crew Halliday, who was second in the championship coming into this round, is now back up into 3rd position and going to score some extremely strong points as we make our way down into the final stages of this race. 17 laps down, we're on lap 18, and Glenn Scott has closed right up onto the back of Matt Walters in the battle for Privateer Kawasaki honours in this race. Both of them inside the top 10 in 9th and 10th position.
You're a Kawasaki man, Phil. Couple of different models there. Matt's on the double R model, and the R model for
Glenn Scott's on the RR model as well.
I was speaking to him. He said he was on an R.
Well, he had the RR at Phillip Island, and they had to get that bike actually built up quicker than they were expecting to. So I'm pretty sure that he's riding the same bike here this weekend, but pretty good job from both of those guys.
Okay. As we have a look at the number 168, Glenn Scott, of course, up the inside. It doesn't get more out of control than that, but he pulls off that move. Now, this is the Glenn Scott of old.
It is, and it's a Glenn Scott that has obviously got confidence in the way that Al Samuels and the team have set up the motorcycle. He's prepared to hang it out on the line like he just did there up at the YMI corner, at the Yamaha corner.
We just got a glimpse of Phil Chai. There he is on the RSV Aprilia as well. Good to see Phil here from Victoria.
Also, Crew Halliday has closed right up onto the back of Wayne Maxwell. Crew Halliday is not done in the battle for 2nd position yet. We're 19 laps down. We're on the final lap now for our race leader, Troy Herfoss, who's got a 1.5 second lead over this battle for the 2nd and 3rd place positions, and 20 and 18 valuable points that go along with them. Maxwell currently holding down 2nd position, but I reckon Crew Halliday is firing himself up for a big lunge at the bottom of the hill on his former teammate.
He's got 2 opportunities. One is into the fishhook at the bottom of the hill, the YMI fishhook, and what a better corner to do. He can't do it there because Maxwell's good on the brakes. But I tell you what, into that final corner, the Yamaha revs your heart out corner. Keep an eye out in about another 300 metres. This guy's going to win it for sure, but Crew Halliday has to have a go.
Yeah, one more corner for Troy Herfoss to take victory at his home circuit, Goulburn. Down the inside comes Crew Halliday, parks the Yamaha on the inside of the corner. Can Wayne Maxwell get the cut back and get the run to the line? I think Crew Halliday is going to get 2nd position, but the race winner will be Troy Herfoss on board the Penrite Honda. Crew Halliday takes 2nd, Wayne Maxwell in 3rd. Falzon should secure 4th place, and Troy Herfoss is back. Not that he ever went anywhere.
That was an incredible ride by Crew Halliday, but look at this, man. Troy Herfoss, winner here in race 1 at Wakefield Park. Now he's back. Pippity hip, hop hop, Phil.
Congratulations to Troy Herfoss and Dion and all of the Penrite Honda team. I know how hard they've been working this weekend. Not only did he take the race win, he also set a new lap record, taking half a second off his previous lap record. He had it at a 58.048. The lap record now stands at a 57.525, a blistering lap time from Troy Herfoss. A race win, 25 valuable points towards the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship.
Yeah, that was a fantastic ride by him. He rode it perfectly, sat in there, made no mistakes, didn't do anything silly in the first half of the race, and then he let Wayne Maxwell know he was there.
Took the win by 1.1 seconds over Crew Halliday in second place. Wayne Maxwell in third. Daniel Falzon finished in fourth place. Mad Mike Jones in fifth. What a great return to the championship on board the Desmo Sport Ducati. Josh Waters in sixth. Brian Starring in seventh. Al Phillips in eighth. Matt Walters in ninth. And Glenn Scott rounds out the top 10. Great battle between those two over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, that was a fantastic result for him. And then, of course, 11th position was Damon Rees, Sloane Frost 12th, Marcus Kyoto in 13th. Arthur Cece's, we haven't mentioned, got a 14th, and Glenn Alton picked up the last point. Ted Collins came through the pack to 16th. Lachlan Epps 17th, Brendan McIntyre in 18th, and Phil Chai on the Aprilia in 19th position.
Yeah, it must have been some problem there for Glenn Allerton. He is not a 15th place finisher in this field. So hopefully whatever the problem was there with that Next Gen Motorsports BMW, they can get that rectified for this afternoon's second 20-lap race. Well, it won't be long. We'll be hearing from our top three. Troy Herfoss hasn't had the usual Troy Herfoss smile on his face this weekend. I reckon by the time that Emma talks to him down in Park for May, that smile will be starting to come back, Steve.
He's going to have half a smile, Phil, because he's still got to finish it off this afternoon in race 2. So he'll be pretty happy, but I'll tell you what, if he gets a double win here, that'll be a fantastic result for him. There you go. Wayne Maxwell shakes his hand, says, congratulations, mate. We knew we were going to do that here. He'll be certainly playing a few mind games with him on the podium.
Class race number 1. Let's have a look at the replay of the race, the highlights as they came down into turn 1 for the first time. It was Crew Halliday that started from pole position, but it was Wayne Maxwell that led the race early on.
Brian Starring got a great start there too, as Josh Waters did, but Wayne Maxwell was looking like he was going to run away with it early on. At that point, I thought Troy Herfoss had a fight in his hands. Mike Jones wanted to join the fray and had the lap record at one point in the race.
Yeah, Troy Herfoss, I think at this stage was just keeping his powder dry. He was warming himself up, ready for a real assault on the lead. Daniel Falzon had got away with them as well as the top 4 just started to squeeze their way away from the battle behind. Mad Mike Jones has started to work his way through the field and was sitting in 5th place, but didn't have the pace of the top 4.
The number 1, though, Troy Herfoss on the Honda, started to make his way forward as Daniel Falzon closed up onto the back of the group there, and when Crew Halliday made that mistake, let himself get through. If Crew didn't do that, who knows who the winner of this one could have been. But then he tried. Herfoss went once, but Maxwell fought back. It wasn't to be. Maxwell took the lead. It wasn't long before Troy Herfoss had another crack. He'd done it once, but this time he wasn't going to make a mistake, and he got past quite easily into the final Yamaha Revs Your Heart Out corner. Look at him go. Closes it off and then takes the lead. From that point on, Wayne Maxwell could only watch him walk away.
Yeah, there's a real great battle going on back in the pack. Glenn Scott was charging forward. First victim on his calling card was Damon Rees, the Kiwi on board bike number 92, and then he continued to work his way forward. The Kiwis were on fire in this one. Sloane Frost on board bike number 33, having a good ride as well, going past Michael Edwards. Then Glenn Scott was up the inside of Matt Walters, very sideways. Matt Walters had to take evasive action to make sure that he didn't swap paint with Glenn Scott on board bike number 168. All the while, Troy Herfoss was pulling away in the lead. Crew Halliday made a last-ditch lunge for second place right at the Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner and got past Wayne Maxwell on the run to the line. Herfoss takes the win, Crew Halliday takes second, and Wayne Maxwell takes third, and great points. They're down with Emma now in Park for May.
Thank you very much, Phil. Wayne Maxwell in 3rd position. You did have the lead there for a while, but let's not forget you were battling against the king of Wakefield Park.
Yeah, look, it's we've got a few issues still going on, but hats off to Troy and Crew. They rode an awesome race. I'm happy with how I rode. I said, like, for where we're at, I set a really good pace out front, stretched the field, and I knew it would sort of be 3 guys, and yeah, that's what it was in the end. I was just on the wrong end of the 3.
Good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
In 2nd position, Crew Halliday. Crew Halliday getting his 3rd podium for the 2019 season. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I'm happy with the race, but I'm still a little bit disappointed. I made a lot of mistakes in that first part of the race, and that was on fresh tyres, so it would have just been me personally just overriding the bike. And yeah, the biggest mistake I think was going into turn 2 behind Wayne. I just got sort of caught in his slip and sort of dragged me a little bit further and faster into the corner than what I thought, and it was not really a corner you want to be doing that. So I just stood it up and Daniel got past me, and I sort of had to regroup. Everything was going a million miles an hour, but once I got Daniel, everything sort of slowed down. I knew I was starting to. Actually, at first I thought I was just staying the same as him, then I could see I was starting to catch him. So I think a little less stress-free at the start of the race I need to be, and hopefully that can run with the front boys and throw some passes on Troy. He's the man to beat around here. So
The good news is you're starting from pole for the next one too.
Thank you.
Good luck. And your winner for race number 1 for the Kawasaki Superbikes, he got a lap record. He is the king of Wakefield, and 25 points to your name for the 2019 championship. Well done.
Thanks very much, Emma. That's a surprise of that record, and what a great consolation. It was such a tough race because Crew and Wayne were as fast as I expected, and probably a little bit stronger at the end of the race than I expected to. It was really a lot of hard work, and I hoped in the lead up that we had a really good race pace because I'd done a lot of laps on the one tyre in practice, and that was the case. So I felt really comfortable at the end, and so it's a credit to the team. They've done a great job. The Pirelli's working great. We've got a new tyre this year that Pirelli's brought to Australia, so it's great to keep moving forward, break lap records, and more importantly, claw some points back.
That was a 57.525, just in case you wanted to know. Now, all your family and friends here this week, and obviously you didn't crack under the pressure. Are we all invited to the after party tonight?
Yeah, you are, but all my friends and family come in the truck before the race and, the mayor has put up something on his Facebook and...
Is the mayor coming too?
All these people are here. I'm like, you don't have to put so much pressure on me. There's already enough.
Well done, Troy. Good luck for the next one. Phil?
Thanks very much, Emma. Great to hear from our top 3 there. Yeah, congratulations to Troy Herfoss. No surprise to see that everyone in Goulburn has come out to see him. Championship points sees Crew Halliday lead the championship now after the first of 2 races. Aidan Wagner on 71 points is 5 points behind. Troy Herfoss has moved up into 3rd on 66. Mad Mike Jones in 4th place on 65, tied with Josh Waters. And Brian Starring is back there in 6th place on 62. Wayne Maxwell's moved forward to 58 points as well. Daniel Falzon, Glenn Allerton and Matt Walters round out the championship top 10. Let's go to a break. Come back with continuing action here from Wakefield Park. Sidecars up next.
We have been working on making motor racing more exciting. We removed the outer shell of the car. People are gonna love it. Yeah, I like it. We removed 2 of the wheels.
Seriously, guys?
I love it. What else? We crank up the speed. 300 Ks. There'll be heaps more overtaking.
It's motorcycle racing.
International Motorfest. Get your tickets at thebend.com.au.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park in the second round of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship. Getting ready for the third and final sidecar race of the weekend for the Horsnell Consulting Group Australian Sidecar Championship. We've seen history made so far this weekend with young Corey Turner, the Queenslander, taking his first ever win in the class with his brother Daniel as the sidecar passenger this weekend. They'll be looking to try and continue that winning form, Mark Brax, as we head into the final race for them for the weekend.
Yeah, it is, pardon me, going to be a good race, a good field of guys coming out for the Horsnell Consulting sidecars. Probably the best field we've seen for a while. About 20 of them started the weekend. There's been a few attrition during the course of the weekend. Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman, pardon me, the ex-Australian champions, taking out the leg one to number one. Pardon me. And they don't have a warm-up lap. They stride in lap and straight into it.
So starting on the front row of the grid, as we have a look at the grid now as they make their way down to the positions. Looks like Bayliss on the front row of the grid on board bike number 30. He's been racing 2 weekends in a row, has Steve Bayliss last weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park.
He's on the second row, just behind the defending champion, Ford and Menzies. There they are, number one. They had a wretched race yesterday, did our defending champions.
Yeah, they finished way back.
The one to look is from the third row of the grid on position number 6, on position number 5, bike number 52. What else is a Turner going to be racing under except bike number 52? Corey Turner, this time last year, was on a Superbike, the Desmo Sports Ducati.
Geez, a pretty good start there from Howard Ford on board bike number 1. But a shocking start from bike number 24, Jeremy Joyce.
I think it was a shocking start from the entire field besides Ford and Menzies, wasn't it? They just, as if they were heading, a bit of a slip and a slide there from bike number 17.
That was Phil Underwood and Steve Ford. They were lucky to keep that bike anywhere near the black stuff there as they made their way up towards the top end of the circuit. It is Howard Ford and Lee Menzies, and is that bike number 52 that's made its way up into second position. Corey Turner, he's got that bit of confidence now after that first win yesterday afternoon. No surprise to see bike number 54 there, Mick Alton, the reigning F2 champion, getting off to a good start on board his F2 machine.
I'll tell you one that's been surprising, all of them, including Mick Alton, who's preparing to go over the Isle of Man again, as Corey Turner comes up the inside as they go up to turn number 4. Down turn number 8 down the back straight, but Ford and Menzies has a little gander out the inside, but not quite. Now that's it, Formula One machine, and look at it fighting for traction.
Yeah, great battle between the short and long outfits as well. But what about Corey Ford? Excuse me, Mr. Australian champion, coming through.
Yeah, Corey Turner saying that to Hudson Ford then. Howard Ford, pardon me, as Lee Menzies hangs right off the side as they head up the hill through KTM corner.
Yeah, Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney also looking to be closing in on board bike number 26 as well.
Well, yesterday in the first race field, they stalled it on the grid and still managed to make it back to fourth and be the leading Formula 2 machine and break his mum's record on the way.
Well, there you go. That'll be bragging rights in the household this evening.
And the other thing too with Clancy and Bonney is the fact that they were only given the bike on Wednesday. They didn't have a bike. And they've dragged one out of the shed that hasn't been raced in 4 years, put some oil in it, check the chain, away you go.
Well, sounds like a great recipe to go racing in some fast lap times as we see now a very close 4-bike battle here, queuing up behind Howard Ford to try and have a run at the reigning Australian champion. Down the inside, that's Bayliss. He's moved up one further position, has Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson on board bike number 30. They're on a bit of a charge now, trying to make their way forward. Started from the second row of the grid, didn't get the best of starts.
Now, race winner from yesterday on the current lap record, Jeremy Joyce going through there, and Corey Blackman on bike number 24. 2 in one fell swoop. But Bayliss round the outside. That is a very determined. There's paint scratches on the mark, fiberglass being broken there as they exit turn 1 and turn 2 and up the hill again.
Well, there's not a lot of width here at Wakefield Park. Those sidecars take up a lot of distance there. turn number 1 was a incredibly tight way there through for all of those guys to try and get through. And unfortunately, it was Bayliss that got pushed out wide onto the tarmac. As we have a look at the replay, you can see here they're rubbing. Bayliss tries to go around the outside, but Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman just had the inside track position. You can see the smoke coming off there, little bits of fiberglass, and Bayliss was out onto the ripple strip and lost all of his drive on the way up the hill.
That's what you call putting a move on.
It certainly is. As we have a look now at the riders coming down into the final corner, and I think that was Jeremy Joyce having a big look up the inside. Was that Aaron Wilson just giving the thumbs up to the riders behind that they've just come in contact with?
Yeah, Pat Clancy and Steve Bonnie. But yeah, there was great stuff all round for these guys. They're a pretty close-knit fraternity, even though they look like they're... Oh, I tell you what, Stephen Bayliss over the ripple strip. Who needs a racetrack?
Well, it was almost like Speedway sidecar there as he went around the inside, up onto the ripple strip, and got a big shock there as he tried to tip into the corner as the inside of the bike was airborne.
They haven't got much suspension at the best of times. When you're doing that, there's absolutely nothing. All Joyce and Blackman having a good look up the inside of the defending champions in this battle for second position.
Well, the fastest riders on track so far is our race leaders, Corey and Daniel Turner, with a 105.995. Just having a look at how that compares. The fastest lap in yesterday's race was a 105.336 for Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman.
Which was a new lap record. So they're going close, but not too bad at the moment to get into the 65s. And you can hear it, even the wheels spinning of those 12-inch Avons fighting for traction as they come down now to complete lap number 5 of 8. So they've just completed half race distance.
So what do you reckon the chances of Corey Turner doing the rest of the 2019 Horsehall Consulting Group Australian Sidecar Championship will be after this performance here at Wakefield Park?
Well, I suppose he's seen that his sister was doing it. I thought, well, if you can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, she was swinging, not riding.
Exactly. But it's a family affair, the sidecar fraternity up there for the Turners from Queensland.
I think his uncle is also a very handy sidecar pilot as well.
Well, they've got more history in the three-wheelers than they actually have on the two. Like, Corey Turner almost got abolished from the family for actually jumping on two wheels.
Oh, very tight at the bottom of the hill there at the YMI corner. Howard Ford nearly got the treatment from behind from Bayliss, who goes up the inside. Now, Jeremy Joyce all out of control. He's lost all his drive down the back straight.
I think he's retired. Oh, no, he's just wheel spinning. He was trying that hard. Ford up the inside, a squiggle and a squirm. It looks like Mr. Squiggle's blackboard at the moment as they head down now onto the straight to complete lap number 6, 2 laps to go.
There's probably been more overtaking in this one sidecar race than we saw in multiple rounds of the championship last year. They are really having a red-hot dip here at Wakefield Park. 2.2 kilometres, 10 corners, and multiple overtaking opportunities, it would appear, on these sidecars. You can see all of the big black marks there on Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman's machine, bike number 24, from that earlier incident down there at turn 2 with Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson.
Well, this is a carbon copy of yesterday's racing. Phil, you were busy yesterday, but it was a similar thing, and it's a good sign for the Horsehall Consulting Sidecar Championship that these guys will be battling hammer and tongs all year.
Well,
Lee Menzies has a sly look over his shoulder as Steve Bayliss, one of the most famous names in sidecar racing in Australia, round the outside again. He loves that move, hanging it out to dry.
Well, that was at the bottom of the hill there. You could see he just took the wide line and got a great drive from the bottom of the hill all the way around, and he now leads this group down into the final corner. The reigning Australian champion, Howard Ford, and Lee Menzies back there in third place now, queuing up to try and find their way past is Jeremy Joyce and Pat Clancy as well.
And look at the lead that the Turner brothers have come out. Corey Turner, the elder of the two, but Howard Menzies just pulls it to the inside and slashes his way through to reclaim second position.
Well, actually, Corey and Daniel Turner have just done the fastest lap of the race once again on that last lap, Braxy, at 105.942. It's about 0.6 of a second off the new lap record that was set yesterday.
And there's a new lap record holder just at the back of this contingent at the moment. But Steve Bayliss is trying another big move.
I'm not sure if that was smoke, dust, or bits of fiberglass coming off the bikes there as they made their way through the Suzuki corner and start their way charging down the hill.
Oh, he loves it. He's done it again as Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson. Round the outside, he must be a bit of a rodeo rider by the look of him. Well, the way it's bucking, he's sure to be a bit of a rodeo rider.
Well, Aaron Wilson will get a job on one of those bucking Broncos, the way that he's been able to hang on to the moment. These sidecars are moving around all over the place and certainly providing great entertainment for the crowd here at Wakefield Park. This 4-bike battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th position is an absolute bell ringer as we start the final lap now. The Turners once again doing the fastest lap of 1:05.936.
Not quite on the lap record pace, but these guys are, well, they got the axes out at the moment. And the sidecar outfits, the fiberglass shrouds, actually hides the dynamics of how much these bikes move. When you see them moving as much as we're doing, you know how hard they're riding them.
To give you an idea of how hard the Turners are riding at the moment, they're lapping in the 105s. The rest of this lead group are all lapping in the mid-107 second bracket as Steve Bayliss off the circuit. Howard Ford was off the circuit as well. Coming through was that bike number 24. That's Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman. They've moved up into 3rd position now as Howard Ford has really been hung out to dry on this last lap.
And he's got Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney trying to get traction on their Formula 2 machine to relegate the Formula 1 outfit behind them. But already Corey Turner and his brother Daniel are miles in front. They'll be crossing the start-finish line to take 2 wins from 2 starts. There we go. On screen we see them. The number 1 finger goes up for Daniel as he looks at his family. Great stuff for Corey Turner and Daniel Turner.
Yeah, great result there for the Turners. Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson take 3rd place, the last place on the podium, because they were pipped on the line by Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman in the battle for the top 3. Howard Ford and Lee Menzies finish in 4th place. Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney will take the win in the Formula 2 category over Mick Alton and Chrissy Clancy, who finished 2 places back in 7th position, with Jeff Brown and Darren Sheldrick finishing in between the 2 leading Formula 2 machines in 6th position. But no one had an answer for the Turners this afternoon. They were the fastest riders on track by about 0.6 of a second over the entire race and took their 2nd win of the weekend. Confirmation of your results. It was the Corey Turner, Daniel Turner duo on their Honda CBR that took the win by 7.2 seconds over Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman. Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson rounded out the podium. Howard Ford, Lee Menzies in 4th place. Clancy and Bonney in 5th place. Brown and Sheldrick in 6th. Alton and Clancy in 7th place. Bruce Collins and Peter DeAngelis in 8th. In 9th place was Reynolds and Warren, and Clancy and Dawson rounding out the top 10. But also 2 congratulations to Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney that took the win in the Formula 2 category. Let's have a look at the highlights. You can see the jump from the Turners there on board bike number 52. They started back on the grid a fair way, but they were up into 2nd place by the time they made their way down into turn 2 for the first time. And it wasn't long before they went past the reigning Australian champion, Howard Ford and Lee Menzies, at the top of the hill, and then started to charge away. No one had any answers for their speed on board bike number 52, which left Howard Ford and Lee Menzies to be involved in a race-long battle with bike number 24 of Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman, bike number 30 of Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson, and also bike number 26 of Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney on the leading Formula 2 machine. There was plenty of paint swapping. This one here down at turn 2 saw Steve Bayliss lose a lot of distance. He was lucky to keep the bike on track and managed to charge his way back into this 3-4 bike battle for the final places on the podium. Howard Ford was leading on board bike number 1, but continual swapping of places meant that everybody had their turn at the lead group, at the lead of this group. Bayliss was exceptionally fast at the bottom of the hill at YMI corner and continually went around on the wide line, around the outside, getting the better of Howard Ford and Lee Menzies. They continued to stick to the inside. You can see the inside wheel there of Bayliss's machine just starting to lose traction with terra firma. And over the last couple of laps, we saw Howard Ford and Lee Menzies get relegated several positions. They eventually had to finish in settle for 4th place as the Turners took the win. Joyce and Blackman finished in 2nd, and Bayliss and Wilson finished in 3rd place. Well, unfortunately, looks like one of our sidecars hasn't made it to the finish. That's the Judd and Spanknable machine, and looking very second-hand out there on track. There's the Turners taking the congratulations of the fans. Corey Turner, remember last year was riding a Superbike, and the year before that was actually riding for the Desmo Sport Ducati team on board the Panigale in the Superbike class. Scored a podium In fact, first time out on board the Desmo Sport Ducati at his home circuit of Morgan Park Raceway. Raced several rounds of the championship last year on board his privateer Honda Superbike. And that is the third and final race for the Horsnell Consulting Group at this round of the championship. Corey Turner will take the round win on 70 points. And Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney will take the Formula 2 round win on 76 points with a perfect score of pole position and also 3 race wins. Jeremy Joyce and Corey Blackman will take second in Formula 1 behind Corey and Daniel Turner, and Steve Bayliss and Aaron Wilson will take the final place on the round podium in the Formula 1 class. Plenty of action coming up here this afternoon. Next up will be the lunch break. Spectators here will be also taking in the pit walk. Then this afternoon we will have Supersport 300, the Australian Supersport Championship, Kawasaki Superbike race number 2, the third and final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, and also the Yamaha Motor Finance R3 Cup will round out this afternoon's program. So plenty more action to come this afternoon. Action gets underway after the lunch break at 1:45 with the Supersport 300 class. Just waiting for the riders to make their way down into Parc Fermé. And we will hear from our leading sidecar rider, Corey and Daniel Turner. Great to see the brothers making a strong debut here at Wakefield Park. Of course, Corey Turner knows his way around Wakefield Park. He's ridden on a solo machine here plenty of times before. But a great debut for him in the sidecar class this weekend. Race Safe team doing a great job to clear the circuit after that incident involving Rudd and Spanknable also on board their outfit. Let's go down to the podium and hear from our sidecar victors there with Mark Brax.
Well, Pat Clancy, another good victory in the Formula 2 category, but more importantly, what a race you guys had with the Formula 1 machines.
Yeah, it was some pretty close calls in it. It was neck and neck race until the end.
So did you have any close calls yourself? Because there was a lot of paint swapping going on.
Oh, I never got anyone, but everyone else was sort of getting and hitting each other.
And did you have any close calls, Steve?
No, none at all.
None at all, but you got a passenger for life, have you?
Complete faith in this bloke.
Yeah, and you got a new passenger for life?
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks very much and congratulations on taking a Formula 2 of the Horsnell Consulting sidecar. And we'll get our winners with 2 wins and to take out the round win. Corey Turner, his brother Daniel. Well done, mate. You were pretty lucky that you made the break, because I don't think you would have liked to have been part of what was happening behind you in the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, exactly. I seen Howard jump the start, and I just knew that he didn't have the pace as us top 3 yesterday. So I did a bit of a desperate move, but I knew I had to get it done in the early stages, because hopefully the other boys would have got caught up. What happened, and I bridged that gap while they were trying to pass Howie, and yeah, just stayed there the race, tried to be consistent. I could just see him out corner of the eye, and Dido did everything perfect. So yeah, big thanks to the crew. Yeah, pretty good weekend really.
Now, does that mean we might see you in this outfit for the rest of the year?
Don't know, you'll have to speak to Dad, but I think he's pretty keen.
Well, you've got more of a history in sidecar racing than you have solos, and I said to you in the commentary that you were lucky you weren't excommunicated from the family when you did go solo racing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I ended up on a solo instead of a sidecar first up, to be honest. I think we're like the 4th or 5th generation in the family. So, no, it is cool to keep the name going, and, yeah, to be out in front is even better.
And good to see you out there. And what's it like swinging with your brother, Daniel?
He's actually one of the smoother riders. It's definitely better than being on the back of the old man. But, yeah, awesome to get the job done and hopefully get out there at our home track at Morgan Park and make everyone a bit more scared.
Congratulations, guys. Happily see you back, because that was some great sidecar racing at the front. Maybe you've got to slow it down to give a bit more competition. But great racing with our winners, Corey and Daniel Turner, taking the Formula 1 with 2 wins and taking the round win as well. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks very much, Braxy. Great result for the Turners there, and also to Pat Clancy and Steve Bonney, who took out the Formula 2 category. Live stream will resume here at Wakefield Park at 1:30. So until then, we'll have a short break and join us when the live stream continues for all the afternoon action here at round 2 of the 2019 Motul Pirelli Australian Superbike Championship from Wakefield Park.